Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man House with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me, no traffic jam delay. See, I was driving over the moon in my big hot air balloon, floating high into the darkness. I hope I get there soon. There's so many things to do, so many people I need to talk to, and they've all been waiting for me. Well, I gotta make it through. Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me, no traffic jam delay. Thank my stars forever be green. You have no idea what it means. No, no. To a man who's always traveling, who's seen the things that I've seen. I don't know what's yet to come. Not sure of anything that I've done really makes that much a difference. Well, I hope it has for some. Something special happened today. I got green lights all the way, with no big red sign to stop me, no traffic jam delay. Well, I was driving over the moon in my big hot air balloon, floating high up in the darkness. I promise that I'll make it to you very soon. Something special happened today.
Right. Oh, my voice. My first time speaking today. Shit. Right when Sister George came in and said, do I still have a wrench? Had you kept your mouth shut, you would have kept your wrench because I forgot to take yours. It's a lot of people missing wrenches, and I do apologize. You know I love each and every one of you. I was about to do a full fire sale on the wrenches and get rid of all of them, but in the process of doing that, I said, no, Patreons are going to keep the wrenches, and that's how I'm ultimately going to do it. I timed out Jessica in light for that ridiculous comment. Black women are voting Republican too this time. Yeah, right. But anyway, Patreons got wrenches with some exceptions. It's no exact science to this. It's people who Patreons who I accidentally took the wrench. You had to send me. Yeah, see Paul G right there. Yeah, send me. If I took your wrench and you are Patreon, send me an email. I was in the process of taking them all and starting over. See, I don't even know if Perfect Storm, I don't even know if he's Sister George, it ain't no bullshit. Just become a $5 Patreon. That's it. It's easy. You can come in here and talk all the shit you want without nobody deleting your comments. But anyway, see, there's some exceptions on this. See, I don't even know if perfect storm. See, I was in the process of doing it before the show, and I didn't even get it all figured out. But I will get it figured out. I will make it accurate. But either way it go, be that as it may, the Patreon link is right there. We'll be doing Patreon stuff. I just drew the line on Patreons. That just is what it is. I see some people, somebody, I didn't even see who somebody was saying, I give more than $5 a month. So that means it should be easier. The barrier for entry is easier now. So shut the hell up. Oh shit. That coffee hit harder than I thought it was. Goddamn. But yeah, I was playing around with that. It wasn't a perfect science. Hopefully, yeah, okay. I see. I got Paul G. Back in the building. All right. Hopefully this won't be too much of a distraction. But yeah, I do want to that is what I'm going to do. He said what type of coffee I drink. Just I don't even know. Just the regular Folgers. It's coffee, motherfucker. I don't know. I don't know. It's the stuff in I think it's Folgers in that big red container with the black lid. Sometimes I will buy that like the hazelnut type of stuff. I don't know. I don't even know what kind. I think it's Folgers. Shout out to Nuve with the first super chat of the day. Hopefully people don't get mad about the whole wrench thing. It was getting out of control. Jerome Whiteside be talking cash shit, but he was on some, they was running your channel. It is some truth to that. I did lose control of the classroom a long time ago around here. So, I mean, it is truth to that, even though he just want more free reign to talk shit for selfish reasons. He be calling out, people running the channel and timing them out for no reason. But really, he just want more free reign to run shit. He says, you beard dudes usually drink fancy coffee. That's some funny shit. No, it don't gotta be fancy. I can do regular coffee. I can. You can do regular coffee. Oh, third ward. I'm at the snap. See, now I got me feeling like shit. Patreon. I'm giving wrenches. Patreons get wrenches. I had to snatch third ward clean right on the air in front of everybody. I'm sorry. All right. I gotta get into the topic. Don't have me sitting here talking. Let's not turn this into wrench gate. But my wrench system was never a fair system anyway, because there's some people who be dropping $50 super chats who I forget to give wrenches, and there's some people who back when the channel was small sent one $5 cash app and they got a wrench and ain't donated since. And I don't even like to make it just strict, there's some people who don't donate. I just, they join the panel and make cool content, So I never had an exact system or an exact science. So I'm trying to get something like that going on. So I just said that's going to be the science of who has a wrench and who don't. Patreon and or the prominent content creators. Obviously angry. Ty City, no. Ty City couldn't wait to time out Sister George. Come on, Ty City. Ty City ain't give it 30 seconds. He just came in. Oh shit, she don't got a wrench. Get her ass out of here. He ain't giving 60 seconds. If you do become a Patreon today, email me, because some people got different emails and Patreon names than their YouTube name. So let me know so I can Get that straightened out. It's some people who's supposed to have them that don't got them. Some people who got them that shouldn't. It's not an exact science. I will try to get it figured out, but don't be too ruthless. Don't be too ruthless. But even though she deserve it, she deserve it. She deserve it. But go easy. Time her out every 4 comments. Every 4 comments she make, get her ass out of here. All right. Oh shit. I am Aries Queen. I don't think you can get a Patreon. I mean, I don't think you can get a wrench even if you became a Patreon member. Some people I would just decline the wrench or I would decline the membership, put it like that. I think you may be like you ain't like full of Jessica in light territory, but you would get declined. I would not accept your Patreon membership. And there was some people that all right, I ain't about to talk about the wrenches because there's some people who it breaks my heart because I love each and every one of you. Don't want to be taking wrenches. But I did want to develop a system. I did want to establish some Patreons. And I do want to get to the point where I can do, start doing some Patreon only content and incentivize the Patreon page and the Patreon aspect of this. Because at some point, I do got to clean stuff up around here. My channel not that big, even though people be like, man, you should have 50,000 subs, man. But, people be saying that. But my channel is not that big yet to where I got to, like you see what Angry Man doing, how he could do streams without cussing, or at least segments of the stream without cussing, so he can, resell it to the YouTube algorithm, so to speak. I do got to get into that, but it just be full graunchy over here. You got to do the chat room thing where you just, where you to make certain words not permitted. Some people do the member thing only, excuse me. Some people do the thing where only members can speak in the chat room. I gotta, at some point I will have to do something to try to get, control of the classroom, or I may have to monitor some of the things that I say and monitor more what's being said in the chat to try to protect the channel a little more as it grows. Because, if you just keep living reckless out here, then eventually you're just going to get, your channel going to get knocked. So I do got to do some things differently. This is the early stages of it, but, Patreons get wrenches, and I do got to, make it to where some words are blocked by the system, so to speak. I don't even know how it works. It's an area where you can go in there and let's just say the word MFer. I could make it to where, that F word and the other F word can't be said in my chat. I got to do stuff like that. So we'll all of that, we'll get into it. He says, more money in my pocket, LOL. Or SW1 says, more money in my pocket, LOL. I don't even have to comment. I couldn't care less. Sister George. Oh, that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. But no, at the end of the day, it's an easier barrier of entry. I'm trying to grow the Patreon page, and that's that. But I definitely got nothing but love and support. I appreciate all the support. Got nothing but love for everybody who support the channel in any way that you've supported the channel. I definitely got nothing but love and respect for you. This channel has grown like crazy, and yeah, so the support, regardless of where it comes from, got nothing but love for you. Got nothing but love for you. Prophet of thought. And I meant to email you about that, about the bot thing. Right when I was doing the wrench thing, I was like, damn it, I should email Prophet of thought about the bots and get the whole bot situation together. Yeah, I don't even know how that work. I got to get that figured out too. I do got to get that figured out. Yeah, I'll email you about that. It's a lot of things I got to do. But we got 145 people in here, so let's go ahead and get things going. Let's damn, only 51 likes. Let's hit the like button. People hitting the thumbs down and not liking the video, mad because they ain't got no range. Just shit, this is gonna turn into wrench gate. It's already here. It's gonna turn into wrench gate. There go to Patreon. I'm gonna be doing Patreon shit. We got to grow the Patreon. Let's get the Patreon popping. There we go. There it is. All right. Let's hit the like button. Likes up to 65 likes. 3 more people went thumbs down. I know Sister George thumbs down the video. You know, I said timer out every 4 comments. Let's go. Let's time out Sister George every 2 comments. Every 2. So make them count. If you don't, you only got 2 comments before you get timed out. You better make them count. All right, let me get into the topic. I can't even get started because I'm looking at y'all in the chat. Morning, Obsidian. Oh, and by the way, I will be on Obsidian's channel later today, 6 p.m. when he goes live on YouTube. I don't know if he wants to exactly tease the topic, but we'll be talking about how do I say? Want to be talking about a few things, the things that he sees that's missing in these discussions about the whole Ice Cube contract with Black America, his little situation he had with the, you know, cocktails with Queens, you know, situation. That's going to be that thing. Oh no, when I said tease the topic, I said I didn't know if you wanted me to explain what it is. Now I'm about to get into my topic right now. But no, we might I might after I say what I got to say, then we probably can do a little teaser of it. Let me get into my topic, but one thing I do want to say that, yeah, that's the thing that me and Obsidian is going to be talking about, the whole Ice Cube situation, the cocktails with Queens, and the so-called interview that they did when they was basically just just went full gynocracy. full gynocracy. Obsidian been laying in the cut, haven't given his take on that. So me and him are going to team up, and we're going to talk about that in the issues surrounding it, and yeah, so we're going to talk about that and the overall whole thing that's been going on with Ice Cube in the reaction. And I think more specifically, because we haven't got into all the specifics of everything we're going to talk about, but I think it's going to be a lot of it. I know it's going to be the female reaction to it, how they talk to him, the somewhat debacle that we saw on Roland Martin, where the Black Lives Matter chick was, you know, it was. It's been so much. But yeah, me and Obsidian are definitely going to get into that. I'm going to be talking about that. So just wanted to tease that real quick. So be looking for that at 6 p.m. I'll be sharing it in my community tab. Me and Obsidian going to chop it up about that. But yeah, there's the Patreon link. Those who do have wrenches, step the fuck up and post the Patreon links and stuff. But I do want to grow the Patreon support. All right. The topic that you see today, getting into the topic, a lot of people in the Black manosphere have been getting criticized, getting charged up, voting Republican just to vote against Black women. Question I'm putting on the table is it wrong? Because it's been thrown out there. It's like the charging, it's like an accusation. Like, come clean. You're voting Republican just as a vote against Black women. And they're saying things like, oh, if you listen to them, just listen to what they're saying. They'll tell you, you just gotta put your ear to gotta get a cup in the string and just listen, and you'll hear it. I already know where hood servitors at. No, it ain't wrong. Yeah. And the question then that's really the question on the table today. And I do want to spark a conversation about that. Is it wrong? Is it wrong voting as a Black man, you're voting Republican just as a vote against Black women? Is that wrong? Is that wrong in a climate where we're told that men are supposed to lead? We've had plenty of discussions about the culture. A big part of what the Black manosphere does is it talks about culture, talks about what's wrong with this culture, why it's wrong, how it got wrong. And everybody, regardless of where you're at on that, most people will point back to Lyndon Baines Johnson. All roads lead back to LBJ. All roads lead back to that Moynihan report. Now, some people like to skip that whole flight of stairs and go right to mass incarceration. They want to go right to the 80s. They want to go right there. Normally, when people do that, it's Black women that do that. They want to blame white supremacy, but they don't want to blame Black women. So they don't want to talk about decisions that happened coming out of the 60s. So that's why they like to skip that whole flight of stairs. I don't know if anybody else have noticed that. They will go right to the mass incarceration, but all those Black men who were running amok, committing crimes, regardless of what the laws were, whether or not the laws were fair, what was against the law was against the law, and there was a lot of people committing crimes. We could talk about a percentage of them that were innocent that got locked up. I get all of that, but there were a lot of them that were committing a lot of crimes, and they like to get locked up. They want to talk about that part as the problem, but they don't want to talk about where all those grown men in the 80s who were selling all the crack and doing all that stuff, or selling all the drugs. They want to talk about where those men came from. They were the offspring of the they were ultimately the offspring, the men that grew up, became the grown men in that post-apocalyptic aftermath of all those things that were predicted in the Moynihan report, and the legislation that was passed. We know the whole situation, how there was a cultural change, there was a free love movement, a sexual revolution. We're coming out of the civil rights movement, which was a good thing, but then there were other movements going on. There were feminism, the second wave of feminism, free love movement. Shout out to ARC and the Beta Male Revolution. By the way, let me make sure I do that before he pull up on me again. Shout out to ARC. But a lot of those points are dogma ingrained into the Black manosphere. We know the deal. We know where it came from. We know where that generation of men who got locked up, where they came from. That was the first generation of men that grew up without intact families, and they went astray. So a lot of times Black women do like to skip that whole flight of stairs and go right to those men getting locked up as if they just fell from the sky. That was the first generation of a woman, having a bare minimum productive man willing to commit to her because men, there will never be a time where men don't think it's generally a good idea. I mean, men are starting to think that now, but for the most part, there will never be a time when men don't think it's a generally a good idea to show up, resources in hand. You know, a young woman, emphasis on the word woman, a young woman. He's offering her protection and provision, and she's offering him, sex, companionship, cooking and cleaning, all of that. That's been a fair exchange for centuries, decades. That was the first generation where you had that guy. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't making six figures. He wasn't no six-figure nigga, but he was an able-bodied working adult. And that guy, that guy was typically the guy, and we talked about this in my interview with Ohini Mora of Male Enlightenment TV. Talked about this, how that guy was quite often the guy that the dad would pick for, but that was the first generation of women picking their own man. And when women got to pick their own man for whatever short-term reasons that they wanted it for, and it was a population of guys who enjoyed being looters in that newly minted pussy riot that happened after the second wave of feminism and sexual revolution, that would ultimately happen. And we know the story, we know the routine. It was some guys who just became looters in that riot, and women were enjoying the riot, and then the offspring happened, and the Black community. All right, we know the deal. But it was those policies and that cultural change that started all of that. So we know the history of it. It was a policy and that cultural change that started all of that. And Democrats have been fairly consistent going forward, where they haven't been at least talking and or passing legislation that doesn't promote or that promotes a certain type of behavior and incentivizes another type of behavior. If you incentivize something, you're going to get more of it. If you don't incentivize something, you get less of it. If you subsidize it, you get more of it. I think we understand that. Ray Clemens in the building. He says, I'll answer it. If family is your interest, which includes Black women, obviously, then no, it is not wrong. We said, I'll answer it. If family is your interest, which includes Black women, no, it's not wrong. Oh, okay. Yep. Gotcha. Good points. Jerome D in the building. He says, I'm voting to spite Black women. I'm voting in protest to the dysfunction and hypocrisy of the Black community and defending my power of choice. Right on. BGS just made a good video about that. Jerome D, are you a Patriot? Okay, see, I don't know who Patreons and who not. Well, I'm sitting there talking about Patreons get wrenches. I don't know who the hell a Patreon. I saw the list. I'm gonna get it figured out. There's some people slipping under the cracks. Some people removed that shouldn't have been removed. I don't know. I'm gonna get it figured out. Just give me time. January Man in the building. We know January Man's a Patreon. All right. Where was I? So we know the history of it. It's a very simple history, very simple story of Black America and where it went wrong, how families not became a thing, and we know the outcomes of children born outside of families. We know it's data that supports that you're better off being born Black into a marriage than what you are being born white to a single mama. Like that's like a end all be all, game over. If you want to talk about what's wrong with the community, it does start with families. That's just that. You can't get around that one. That is a really, really hard one to get around. It just is. It's almost impossible to get around. So if we're talking about black men voting Republican, and we're looking at the source of where voting Democrat has led the community astray, and we're also saying black men are to be leaders, we'll talk about what's wrong with the culture. Black men set and dictate the culture. That's the counter arguments we hear. The women just nest in it. They just respond to it. Okay. So if black men see something culturally went wrong with black people at mass, at record numbers, consistently at over 90%, voting Democrat. And we see the policies that Democrats want. And yes, there's some political mumbo jumbo. Yes, there's populist talking points. Yes, there's all kinds of things that go on where somebody could talk about, I've heard the arguments. Republicans, want the same thing, or we've heard it all. We've heard it all. We've seen it all. And the fact of the matter is, black men deciding to go their own way, ultimately, essentially, that's what they're doing. They're politically going their own way, or going in a different way. Politically going in a different direction because they don't like culturally where the black community is going. And black women who seemingly likes exactly where the culture is going, and they're consistently going in the way of the Democratic Party. They're consistently, being on board with that because they consistently see their benefits in that. And the black men are saying the things that you see that benefits you does not benefit us, and ultimately does not benefit black people. It does not benefit black children. It does not benefit black family. So black men are going a different way. And by doing that, they're ultimately voting Republican to vote against black women. The question is that wrong? Now, let's look at it this way. If white men looked at how, their out of wedlock birth rate is going up, marriages and families, all of that going down. If they were to look at their abortion rate going up, if they were to see that all those things that I talked about, how you're better off being born black in this country to an intact family than what you are being born white in this family to a single mama. If they looked at all of that, and white men just grabbed their nuts and at a 97% rate voted Republican. Anybody who's going to defund Planned Parenthood, anything that's going to make it harder for women to be independent. If they just grabbed their nuts and did it at a 95% rate, the same people that are criticizing black men would look at those white men and say, wow, that's leadership. They would call it leadership if white men did it. But black men doing it, they're saying, look at them. They were damn near calling it effeminate. They're voting Republican just to vote against black women. They're voting Republican just to vote against black women. But if white men did the same thing in their own way for their own reasons, it would get called leadership. Like, think about that one. He says, black men voted for. Nigga, what? Why is your name no sweetheart? Why is your name No, sweetheart. I can't. It's distracting from the seriousness of your point. Whatever point that you're trying to make, that name, no, sweetheart, is distracting from the seriousness of the point. It's like trying to have a conversation, a serious conversation, a serious conversation with somebody while they're wearing a clown nose. You just can't do it. It's distracting. Imagine talking about global politics with somebody that got a big ass clown nose. You know, we're talking about euthanasia, and he got a big ass clown nose on. You can't do it. So I'm trying to have the conversation with him, but I can't. Like, come on, man. It's distracting from the conversation. Why is that your YouTube name? Out of all the many names available, why did you choose No Sweetheart? Okay, he's gonna explain. Bro, no one likes my name. Yeah, of course. Of course nobody likes that shit. And you tried to join the panel. Think about how that would have been. You'd have said something I disagree with and I interrupt you. If I interrupt you by saying your name while you're saying something I disagree with, you just running your mouth and I try to interrupt you. I call your name when you're saying something I disagree with. I'm like, no, sweetheart. And then you got me sounding suspect. Niggas in mid-conversation talking about some no, sweetheart. Come on, man. You got to change that. You ever tried to have a serious conversation with a dude named Peaches? Yeah. You can't have a serious conversation with some dude named Peaches. Like that's such an entertainer joke. I ain't calling no grown man delicious. He's like, yeah. My name, I don't know if he said D or Daryl, but yeah, all my friends, everybody just call me delicious. Get the hell on out of here. I'm sorry. I'm sure you had a good point, but that name threw me off. That name just threw me off bad, man. You got to change that, bro. So yeah, Brian Tober, like, hey, yo, delicious, what's good? Nah, you can't be that. Yeah, my nigga, no sweetheart. No, it's no way to. You can't make that sound masculine. Yeah, shout out to my nigga, delicious. No, there's no way to. There's no way to make that work. Throw it off. Yeah, I was thrown off on that one. I don't even remember what I was talking about. I don't even remember what I was talking about. Where was I at? Get the fuck out of here. SKC he said name change suggestion sweet meat. Oh shit, y'all making me break my camera. My microphone. Why do that move like that? I know I got it on tight. God damn it. I'm not a troll. You turning my name into a troll name. Dude, you got to change that. You got to change that. Oh man. Oh shit. All right. I was in the midst of making a good point. I was almost cooking. because the same people this is the point I was trying to make before he threw me off. The same people, and I've had people make that argument on here that you can't be complaining about women. It's not women's fault that the culture is how it is. That's what we hear. That's what we hear. It's women's fault that the culture is the way that it is. Now, before I get back into that one, I do got to call out Republicans, because Republicans are, to some degree, it seems like they're at the early stages. And actually, me, Hood Conservative in Thai City actually talked about this. Trade MBD. Republicans are at the early stages of bending with this, with the whole cultural, acceptance of any and everything. We know the Democrats, who are in line with feminism, and feminism is in line with whether we talking thought culture, strong, independent, don't need no manness, all of that. Feminism, Democratic Party, all of that is in line with that. And once let me get that, I got to get sweet meat off of there real quick. Hold on. I didn't mean to leave that up there. Because they're in line with all of that, and we see the outcomes of that, the predictable statistical outcomes of that. So we can pin that tail on the donkey, no pun intended, of the Democratic Party. We can definitely pin a tail on that donkey. And what I feel like the Republicans are doing, and this is some evidence that they're losing the culture war. Shout out to Bill O'Reilly, wrote the book Culture Warrior. When I read about half of that book, I was very liberal, so I was bending over backwards trying to disagree with everything in there. But it was some good stuff said in there. And I guess I got to shout out MOT, policies, nigga. What's your policies? There's a cultural aspect to this thing. And the Republican Party and people that vote Republican, and the policies that they tend to be against, and the things culturally that they have stood against, have been against that whole feminism, which leads to women being independent with children without men around, which ultimately leads to this whole thought culture, hookup culture, all, in the whole cesspool of it all. I'm not on a soapbox preaching against casual sex, but I do got to say a line do got to get drawn if we're talking about children being born and fathers not being in the house raising the children, or the children not being in the house with the father, or fathers being reduced to every other weekend, even when they try to fight for half custody. We gotta talk about that. That is a thing on the table worth discussing. Even though, yeah, we are men, we do have locker room talk, we do like pussy. So there's that. But I think Republicans are at the early stages of yielding to the Democrats on that. I just saw a video where a Republican woman was trying to sell to some Biden supporters that Trump is the most pro-LGBT president ever. We're seeing shit like that. So they're at the early stages of folding. Put it like that. The Republican Party they're at the early stages of folding on the culture aspect of it. But be that as it may, let's just assume that the conservative side of things are still, let's just assume that they're still intact. Okay. What we're going to ultimately end up with, or what we would end up with, if white men or any other group of men saw where the culture was going and they identified all those problems, they pinned the tail on the right donkey, so to speak. They saw the problems. They saw families dwindling down. They saw the out of wedlock birth rate rising. They saw abortions going up. They saw their crime going up. They saw their education stats going down. They saw men and women, not being together, just meeting up to fuck. And then if the woman walk off and they go to these separate corners, shout out to Obsidian. And if the woman is over there in the corner with a kid and they just like on some OL shit, if they saw that was happening and they said, we're going to vote against anything that gives one iota of incentive or one iota, just a little ounce, just a little pinch, if they just subsidizing just a little bit that type of behavior, if they provide anything that's providing any type of safety net, they nuts and went and voted against it at 95%. The same people that are criticizing black men will call it leadership if other men do it. But if black men go and vote for Trump at 30 to 40%, it's predicting at the lowest I heard 20%, at the highest I heard 30%. Let's just say if it's over 30, let's say if it's 35. Clearly, if black men were to do that, it wouldn't get viewed as leadership. It wouldn't get viewed as black men seeing a problem with the culture and where the things are going. We're going to get criticized for voting against black women. That's what I've heard. I'll even say the name. Well, no, I ain't going to say the name. The gentleman that was on Brother Xavier made that argument. This ain't a call out video against him because he ain't the only one. A lot of people have been saying that y'all just voting against black women. I'm like, what's wrong with that? We wouldn't say other men were wrong for doing that. The Republican Party, when you look at all their everybody who holds the Senate seats or the governors, when you look at all of that, what do you see? Majority white men. That you look at them as leaders. They're doing something. That's power. Yeah, the women are going in that direction. We ain't following. Majority of white men vote Republican, and they vote majority white men into their high political offices. They're not bending to the culture of their women that started after that second wave of feminism. They're not bending to it. A percentage of them are not bending to it. And I've heard that get called leadership. So if you see black men going a different way politically, but you're not, and a lot of it is cultural, MOT is right, what's your policies, nigga? Yeah, a lot of it isn't 100% policy based. A lot of it is cultural. But you see black men picking up a cultural banner and walking a flag and walking one way with it, but there's a problem with it. How is that not viewed as leadership? Because individuals, I mean, there's leaders who are in position to actually really do big things, I think we understand that. But for the average Joe Smo, the most important thing he got his vote. So if a lot of average Joe Smo black men go one way with it, and then people are criticizing that, but they would view it as leadership. Imagine if Hispanic men did that. It would get called leadership. It all would get called leadership. Looked at leadership and referred to leadership. So what they were essentially saying, black men aren't supposed to be leaders. That's essentially what's being said. Dropping the link right there to the Patreon page. Patreons Patreons get ranges. Patreons get ranges. Shout out to New. He says hashtag. He says vote hashtag men first. Excuse me. Excuse me. Ha! I lost a Patreon. Motherfuckers like, hell no, we won't go. Shit, I said I hope this don't turn into wrench gate. I'm trying to reconstruct a whole lot of things, man. I told you I got nothing but love for all y'all. Don't let this turn into a situation, man. I'm trying to reconstruct a wrench situation. Almost did a full fire sale, got rid of every damn wrench, and was starting over and was going to have certain key words that can't be said. And the criteria when I was trying to determine who I'm giving a wrench to and who I'm not giving a wrench to, I just said it's just going to be Patreons, and that's just that. And that's what I ultimately decided to do. And hopefully people don't go ham on me over that. Hopefully we can all just get along. But I'm almost an hour into this thing. But I don't think nothing is wrong with it. I don't think nothing is wrong with it. Voting Republican, just my final answer. Voting Republican. Shout out to my man Silent Mike says, Bernard, it's kind of hard for me to see supporting a candidate that all the people who hate people who look like me support. Both groups can't possibly be made happy. That is a fair point. And I've said that, and a lot of people have denied it. And I said that by voting Republican, yes, you are standing in that booth and you're standing shoulder to shoulder with and voting with the Tiki Torch posse. You are. There's no way around that. It is no way around that. I know black people like to say that all white people are white supremacists or the majority, but no, but the true card-carrying white supremacists, rest assured, you are voting shoulder to shoulder with them. And yes, Donald Trump, who I'm voting for, dog whistles to them. Yes, he does. That's just something we got to take. It's either we can vote there, and there's benefits to voting there, or we can vote in line with the party that implemented the policies and continue to implement the policies and culturally mouth the platitudes of everything that we complain about in the black manosphere, everything that we identify as wrong with the black community. So we either voting with the Tiki Torch posse or we're voting with feminism, the black feminists, and everything that separates the black family and that separated the black family and changed the culture drastically for the next half of a decade, and ultimately is the reason why this whole black manosphere ideology, all these black manosphere ideologies and talking points were created. We will be voting with that. So it is legitimately a one or the other. So it does turn into a situation. I don't give a damn if you don't like me. Do your policies benefit my people some more? And we know that tough immigration policy benefit black men more than anything. We do know that. Councilor Murray, leadership equals implementing standards, values, principles, and shaming system. Wow. I liked how you put shaming system in there. They call that toxic masculinity. Yeah. Yeah. I like how you put that. I like how you put that. Silent Lamont says, Bernard, I respect that honesty though, bruh. Other niggas be trying to play pretend like that ain't what's happening. It's a shitty position for us. Yeah, it is. It truly is. And it's no true way around that. It's no true way around that. I'm not going to deny that. And look, Trump's a businessman and a hustler. And he know when he came out there with that initial comment about Mexicans, he said when they're not bringing over their best and their brightest, they're bringing over their criminals, their drug dealers, their murderers, their rapists. That low-key won him the election because there's a underbelly of just really hardcore. I'm not talking about how y'all say the top of the top white supremacists, the man behind the court pulling the strings. No, I'm talking Jim Bob and them. I'm talking about the Jim Bob racists who don't even give a damn enough to vote. He brought them out of the woodwork. He went on and he dog whistled 10 times harder than any other white Republican has. And he brought them out of the woodwork. That's why the stand down, stand by comment. That's why he says stuff where he will denounce white supremacy, but he will say stuff to where he would denounce the racist. He would denounce them, but he does say stuff to try because he understands that he has to pander to them, just like Democrats have to pander to certain shit. You know, Democrats have to pander to a lot of goofy shit. So yeah, Trump do be he dog whistles. I'm not going to deny that. He needs their votes. He dog whistles to them. He got to. Barack had to speak multiple languages when he was in there. He had to talk to black people and white people at the same time in the same conversation. I mean, so I'm not going to knock Trump playing a political game. But yeah, when we stand in that booth as black men voting Republican, yeah, we are voting with people that hate us. Now, we can't say that across the board. Like the whole damn party is anti-black. I live in Michigan. John James, look him up, running for Senate. Black man who's a dad who his dad was born. I forgot when was his dad born? Did he say 1932? Dad was born in 1932, built a company, had to start the company probably during Jim Crow or coming out of the civil rights movement. Started a company back then. By the early 2000s, when he passed the company over to his son, it was worth $34 million. And John James, who's running for Senate now, grew that company to $134 million. A black man, Republican, running for Senate in Michigan. I'm voting for him. He's doing well. I see far more signs with his name and his black face on it around here than I do his opponents. They ain't all racist. So that's a factor in the equation too. That's a factor to have to get averaged in. They ain't all racist, but those that are vote Republican. But then there's that liberal racism, that bigotry of low expectation, that pat you on the head, that make excuses for you. Oh, you need this, you need that, or it's this problem or that, or we can't be held accountable, but let's just give you more stuff that's going to keep you more in the place that you're in. There's that kind of racism. So you just got to look at it and say what's better for your people. The dog whistlers or the enablers. Like, that's where we at. The dog whistler has an immigration policy that's going to be better for jobs for black men. I can say that. the enablers and subsidizer of the shit we complain about in this space, well, they're going to keep enabling and subsidizing it. So there's that. Aegon Stark, the Tiki Torch posse. I think I started that calling him that. The Tiki Torch posse and Richard Spencer and his team. And he's Team Biden, huh? Because he said Trump wasn't what they thought he would be. That don't mean he's Team Biden. Did he say he was Team Biden? What I've heard Jared Taylor and Richard Spencer say, he says the Republicans, that they call them cowards because, see, they believe all the Republicans actually think exactly how they think. They're just scared to say it, so they call them cowards. And so when he said that Trump ain't what he thought he was going to be, that's essentially what they're saying. They're saying that he have not properly grabbed his nuts and said exactly how he feels. They think that all the Republicans in high office, straddle the fence and dog whistle because they're cowards and they can't say what they really think. Spartacus Jackson, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. He says, a year from now, brothers who voted for Trump will be considered Trump Democrats. Just like Democrats who voted for Ronald Reagan during the 1980s. That's interesting. That is interesting. That's something that I don't even know if I'm qualified to really break down what you just said right there. But that's interesting. That is an interesting little piece right there. That brother Pete, he says DJT Donald Trump isn't competent or calculating enough to be a white supremacist. He's a low-level bigot, and as John McWhorter said, unadorned and basic businessman. To quote a card-carrying white supremacist, Jared Taylor says, and this alludes to what you're talking about, he said he don't think Trump thinks deeply about anything, but he does seem to have good instincts. But he don't think Trump is very smart and don't really think about shit. He just shoot from the hip and got good instincts, and sometimes will, shoot from the hip and stumble into the right thing, but he didn't really think deeply about it and plot and plan and dot all the I's and cross all the T's. So I think that's something that you allude to, something that you're somewhat alluding to. Obsidian in the building, but Spencer being down with Biden shouldn't be any surprise. The Democrats have always been white supremacists. Okay, yeah, that's a thing. But I didn't know Spencer was actually down with him. I didn't know that. But you would think, and this is the good argument to what Silent Lamont was speaking to. You would think that, okay, the Democrats are the real racist. Why aren't these card-carrying white supremacists voting with them? If the Democrats do want to see, if the white supremacists do think that, black people being at a disadvantage is a good thing, then they should be voting for Democrats. Well, no, they can't do that because then they vote for Democrats. The Democrats are going to be, implementing all kind of other shit that they disagree with, and giving it advantages, benefits, and subsidies. But if all the stuff that they're doing for black people is counterproductive, then it seemed like they would support the Democrats, and then maybe that's what you're alluding to, Obsidian. That's interesting. I feel like I missed somebody else super chat. Thank you for that super chat, Pete. Appreciate that. I think you were somebody who was wrenchless, who still supporting by way via super chat. Some people were a little upset with me. I did a full fire sale on the wrenches, and I appreciate those still rocking with me. Regardless of the wrench thing. The Patreon link is in the chat. Trying to grow the Patreons. Ugh, I can't even say it. Trying to grow the Patreons. But then got enough on the table for a good conversation. So I'm about to go ahead and drop the link in the chat. About to drop the link. Link is in the chat. Come on down. Bernard, man, when I see outright racism, I knew Hood Conservative was gonna come up get a piece of this. Says Bernard, man, when I see real quick, I thought about reaching out to you on this topic, Hood Conservative. I knew you wanted to eat on this one, but hold on, let me read silence. Super comment. I'm so off. I don't even got my phone with me, so I don't even know if anybody is if anybody has Cash App. I appreciate y'all. I'll try to get my phone in my hands so I can check that out lately. But I do appreciate all the support, regardless of where it comes. Appreciate it. He says, Bernard, man, when I see outright racism, that shit is always from the right wing. That's true. He says, all those tiki torch carrying, Confederate flag waving, red pickup truck driving, they're all Republicans. Yeah, like somebody said that being a Republican does not make you racist, but if you are racist, you're probably a Republican. You're more than likely a Republican. That's true. That is true. That is true. Link is in the chat, so yeah, we got a good one up here. All right, no sweetheart changed his name. Hood Conservative, man, go ahead, fire away. You got it, bro. Let me get my earpiece together so I can hear a little something.
Good morning. What up, Obsidian? And
hey. Oh man, what's going on? Welcome.
You know, I swear, if anybody else had brought this topic up, especially in a more aggressive tone, I'd have felt like they was coming at my throat, because like I've been saying this shit for months, and people that I argue with say that back at me as if it's some kind of attack. Like, so what? Yeah, let's vote against black women. Why? You know what? And instead of making it about all this intricate political stuff, and if we take this percent of taxes and shift it over here, if we took this percent of money from the cops and shit, no, fuck all that. Let's just vote against the bitches. It sounds way more concise, and that shit goes on the bumper sticker, bro. Vote against the bitches. You know why? Because the bitches been voting against us for like 60 years now. And then, how about this? Explain to me, no, someone answer this for me, rather. When was the last time a headstrong, patriarchal black man got full-throated support from the black female community? You know what I mean? When they took down Bill Cosby, a part of me felt like they took down my dad. They took down my TV dad. And you know what? Black women ain't march for nothing. These bitches support R. Kelly more than they support Bill Cosby. I'm gonna let it stop from there.
Goddamn. Yeah, I knew you was on board. I thought about you when I was coming up with this topic, but we got Obsidian in the building, and like I said earlier, y'all, I'll be sharing it in my community tab. I'm going to be on Obsidian's show at 6 p.m. tonight. But we got Obsidian in the building. What's going on? What you got?
Yeah, man, we're going to be dealing with what else? The fallout from Ice Cube's contract with America. And let's just get right to it. We want to deal with this issue of the cocktail queens, also known as the four washed up divas, and how they treated Ice Cube. And we're going to make the case connecting this to now it can no longer be denied. There is a real gender divide politically in Black America. Black women vote for the Democrat Party to the tune of damn near 100%. You can't get past it. And as Bernie rightly pointed out, that depending on which estimate you believe, black men are going to turn out in even bigger numbers this time around, even with everything going on, somewhere between 20 to 40%. That's the number I heard. The number I've read, Bernard, is somewhere between 20 and 40%. So even if you take
20 was the low end, 20 was the low end, 40 is the highest end. Yep.
Right. So even if you take the low number, 20%, the Republicans win. Even if you take that number, they win. In order for the Democrats to win, they have to have a combined nearly 100% black vote. So if black men go break 20% for Trump off the rip, they lose. The Democrats lose, period.
So do you think it's just what's your immediate, I think I already know the answer to the question. The charge that they're saying black men they voting Republican just to vote against black women. Your immediate what's your immediate response to that?
I think it's bunk. I think the real question in the hood conservative brother made the point very eloquently. It reminds me, everybody saw Malcolm X, the film, Spike Lee. Excellent film, beautifully acted by Denzel Washington. There's a scene where Denzel Washington as Malcolm X is giving a sermon at the Muhammad's Mosque up in New York City. And he says, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. We ain't voting against black women voting against us. And we could connect that to the Ice Cube piece. And we're going to discuss all this later on tonight on my show over on YouTube, later on 6 p.m. EDT. You don't want to miss it. I mean, black women are voting against us. They voting against everything. And you made such a beautiful point, Bernard. And there really hasn't been a legitimate response. And I'm going back to your debate that you had with Danielle George, Concrete Rose, over on Brother Xavier's channel. You said, look, yes, there is something to be said for brothers that are ineffective, that are incompetent, don't got their act together, knuckleheads. Yes, we agree with that. But you got brothers out here that are busting their ass to do what they're supposed to do, and sisters just don't want to get in line. They don't. Now that was back then. That was what, over a month ago? Now we got the proof with Ice Cube and the 4 washed up divas, 2 of whom he put on. Okay.
Oh shit! Goddamn, I forgot about that. He put on Lisa Ray with Players Club.
Yeah.
Which other one did he put on?
And Vivica Fox.
Oh, in what? How? I forgot.
I forgot the exact way with her, but he definitely put on Lisa Ray. And I'm like, God damn, man. Really? This just goes to your point, Bernard. You are 100% correct. There are brothers, Ice Cube is a case in point. There are brothers that got their act together, doing the right thing, and black women still don't want to get in line. They just want to do what they want to do. And we can look at that at the political level with the Democrat Party. Black women do not want black male oversight, black male leadership, black male input. They don't want that. They don't.
Spartacus Jackson in the building. He says, well, down, pick your poison, then experience racism from the right wing, or experience emasculation from the left wing. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that
word, emasculation, right? This is it's weird and it's painful sometimes watching it actually play out. If you look at the whole Ice Cube, the BLM lady and Roland Martin, what was the name of that lady that he talked to on Roland Martin? Because this is the irony of the leadership of BLM. You women, I think pretty much all of the 3 of you have divested from the actual business of making and producing black people, let alone productive, strong leadership quality black people, just black people in general. Like, you ain't even hit baby mama level. Like, you ain't even trying that hard. You know what I'm saying? At least the all the Keishas and the regular baby mamas out there, at least they went and added something to the pot. You know what I'm saying? That's a future soldier or a future ally in the black army, if that's how you care to look at things. These women have checked out of the community in so many ways, yet they want to be automatically assumed as leaders of the community in the face of a man who been down since he came from the community. He been repping the community in his own way. And as far as like this specific area of like leftist black militant politics, like who is these bitches in the face of Ice Cube? But he jumped the line. He was out of turn somehow. It's like when they talk about emasculation, that was a subtle level of emasculation, in my opinion, because he's not even allowed to hit him where it counts. Like, you bitches ain't even in the game no more. You want to talk all this shit about Black Lives Matter? Go make some.
Man, yeah, you keep it techie in the building with a super chat. I appreciate that. All right, let's let some people up. I'm tentatively letting the artist formerly known as No Sweetheart speak on my channel. You're on a short leash.
Yes, sir. I understand. Man, y'all are hitting it right on the daggone head, everything y'all are saying. And black men have tried this from all points and angles. We tried voting for Hillary. We voted for her at 60% when her own men didn't even vote for her. So we tried this liberalism with our women from all angles, and we've lost every single time.
Damn. Shout out to Brian Tobert, aka Mr. Bowtie, in the building. He says, you are safer with a Black Lives Matter shirt at a Trump event than a MAGA hat at a Black Lives Matter event. That's an interesting point. St. Cloud, I saw you in the chat. Come back. I mean, I saw you in the back chat, in the queue. Come on back. Yeah, thank you for that super chat. That is an interesting point. That is an interesting point right there.
You can prove that point quickly. Go search through all the fights. You do not see crowds of Trump supporters leaving out of rallies attacking people. They get attacked and they usually just eat it and walk through and go for the cops. It's the other side that's violent and crazy, that's been on the march and the rampage for 100+ days nationwide. There's no white supremacist like march. There's no white supremacist rallies. There's no white supremacist riot that have been like freezing the country for the last 4 months now. It's just not happening. Who's really on the rampage right now?
Exactly, that's true. But in every blue state, like if you look at Dallas, you look at Seattle, you look at all these blue Democratic ran Chicago, you look at these blue Democratic ran areas, they were the ones that was tearing everything up. And so how can y'all tell us to vote for you and to get behind you when you let Margaret Sanger come in and kill all the black children? You voted to put all the black men in jail. They're just destroying us.
Right on. Hey, all right, y'all see the Patreon link in the chat. Wrenches are for sale for $5. That's cheap as they come. That's cheap as they come. Wrenches are for sale for $5. Become a $5 Patreon. That's nothing. That's pennies. So go ahead and trying to grow the Patreon page. Going to be doing a lot of Patreon exclusive content. Trying to clean up some things on the channel and whatnot. So the Patreon link is right there. Shout out to everybody who is a Patreon and those of you who support via Super Chat, Cash App, and all the other various. Well, no, those are actually the only ways to support the channel. Actually, is Cash App, Super Chat, and Patreon. So thank you to everybody who keep the wheels turning around here. I do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. All right, let's see. We got Archer in the building. What's going on, Archer?
How's it going, bro?
What's up? What's up? What you got on the topic? You think it's justifiable voting Republican just to vote against black women? You think that's a justifiable position?
Yeah, I mean, at some point in time, you vote for whatever reason you vote. But I think voting Republican to vote against black women is a better reason than voting Republican to vote against racism.
You mean voting Democrat to vote against racism, or what are you saying?
Well, yeah, voting Democrat to vote against racism. But if you're going to voting for something you can actually see that is affecting your lives is better than voting against racism. Because we've been voting against quote unquote racism for years. And the whole time we've been tricked into looking at racism while our women maneuver behind us and stab us in the back. So it's about time we wake up and say, you know what, we got to vote against our women, because before we can even attempt to tackle the racism issue, first we have to tackle our women, no pun intended, and because they're the strong arm of the racists. They're being manipulated by the racists. So if you're going to vote Republican just to vote against the women, I say go ahead and do it. You shouldn't be shamed for that at all. If anybody tries to shame you, I think that's wrong. And there's if we're in this sector, we all listen to the 48 Laws of Power, right? Law number 2 is learn how to use your enemies, and be wary of your friends. And that's one thing. That's one law Black people, especially Black men, have to really pay attention to, because our women will call themselves our friends and stab us in the back, but racists will call themselves our enemies. But we still can learn how to use both parties to our advantage, rather than trying to sweeten up to our friends, even as they continuously say "fuck you" and trying to run away from our enemies. Learn how to use your enemies. Basically, that's all I'm trying to say.
Right on. Aegon Stark says Chelsea Handler, emphasis on the no pun with the name Handler, by the way, just showed us that with the Democrats, Black men face both emasculation and racism. Wow, interesting point. Interesting point there. All right, St. Cloud, would you want to add to the convo?
What guys? How's it going?
Going good.
So actually, I'm going to give some pushback here. I don't think voting Republican to vote against Black women is really a good idea. Because I guess I'm of the mindset of you vote for what you support personally. You don't vote to screw someone else over. I was never a big fan of the whole protest voting thing, but
yeah, I don't know if you were listening to my opening monologue. It wasn't voting to explain how that would even work. Voting to screw somebody else over.
no, I'm just saying it was more. Sorry. I got the belief that you were voting conservative to kind of screw over Black women, or kind of get on their nerves in a sense. I guess to kind of fight back. But I was thinking of,
even if that were true, so what?
No, I guess it's what I think philosophically. It's just a matter of you vote for what you believe. You don't vote against somebody else. So I mean, if you're
what if I believe in screwing Black women over? What if that's what I believe in? I mean, you're bringing morality into it when the world doesn't give a fuck about your morality.
Right. What if that's written into my Bible?
I mean, but that's really what it is. You're bringing morality and telling us to stand the moral high ground. The moral high ground has screwed Black men over for years. Back to the moral high ground with you niggas, while everybody else undercut us with dirty tactics.
No, it's not even morality. It's pragmatism. Like if you believe in A, B, and C, the guy you're voting for is the opposite of that. How does that benefit you?
Okay, well, do you agree that that Black culture went wrong when Black people started voting Democrat after Lyndon Baines Johnson, after the Great Society Act, all of that, and then the whole cultural change after the free love revolution, second wave of feminism, all of that mixed with the policies that pacified and subsidized all that cultural change, and the result of it that resulted in women essentially marrying the state, and there's a percentage of men who I tend to call serial impregnators running amok, being looters in the Pussy Riot and not taking care of the damn kids, and that whole cultural shitstorm, the post-apocalyptic aftermath of all those decisions that we are living in now, with this out of wedlock birth rate that's extremely high. The rate of families extremely low, and we know the outcomes of people born into families versus those born, not in families to baby mamas. We know it's data that show that you're better off being born Black in America to an actual intact family than to be born white in America to a white single mama. We know all that, and we can trace the source. The Democratic policies that is ground zero for where things start going wrong, and Black women seem to have no problem with that at the rate that they vote Democrat. So yes, voting Republican, voting against Black, that's the argument of how voting against Black women is far more than just doing something just to be a jackass, just to piss them off.
No, all right. I think.
Do you see a problem with anything that I said right there?
No, I don't. I think I might have misspoke. What I meant by screw over, I meant voting simply because it's against their best interest. I didn't necessarily mean.
Okay, but their best interest is against the best interest of black children
and black men.
Black families, and ultimately the black community, because families, children, and all of that makes the community. So voting against them is voting in favor of the interests of the black community. They're voting against the interests of black people. I think if you think voting Democrat is voting against the interests of black people, and black women consistently vote in the interest vote for the Democrat Party and berate those, particularly black men, who aren't in lockstep with that. So voting Republican is, to some degree, voting against them. And there's actual practical, pragmatic benefit to it. You're trying to sweep that off the table and saying, y'all just being some bitter assholes.
No, that's not what I meant. I was just saying no, I'm sorry. I guess I got to be a little more concise. What I'm saying is I believe in voting. I think people should vote for policies they agree with. I don't believe that people should vote against somebody else. I don't know how else I can really word it. And the thing is, I think these issues we see are mainly black issues. I don't see other communities with these issues, but yet they vote Democrat as well. I think the common denominator here is the black community, not so much the politicians we have.
I know, but but do you see something wrong with black men saying this is the wrong direction, we're going this way?
Yeah, that's a hard question. I mean, because yeah, I guess I can't really answer that one though. But
you said you can't. I said, do you see something wrong with black men saying we see something wrong with going this way, so we're going to go this way at a higher percentage rate? And keep in mind, white men vote Republican at a much higher percentage rate than white women. So there is a percentage of white men who properly identify the problem and properly, vote for, vote in favor of the party that they feel is going to produce better overall outcomes for the community.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, same thing with Hispanic men. Nobody's voting lockstep besides black people. You said other groups of people vote Democrat too. And yeah, they have a different dynamic in their community. But in our community, we have a dynamic that voting Republican inflates and makes worse. I mean, voting Democrat inflates and makes worse. So you can't look at what other groups are doing, how a certain action affects other groups. You have to look at it as how it affects your group. And if it affects your group differently, you have to operate differently to counteract that effect.
Yeah, I feel you.
Now we can vote Democrat, we can vote Republican just to see what I think what you want is you want us to come out of the voting booth with a good conscience. Well, some of us are just freaking evil, and we ain't shit. So I don't mind coming out
speak
here.
Speak for yourself on that. Speak for yourself on that.
Okay. I speak for myself. I don't mind coming out the voting booth, rubbing my hands together like an evil villain. I don't care. Like, this is part of my diabolical scheme. Like, come on now.
And then listen,
as a black man, you gotta kind of operate as the anti-hero anyway. You're gonna be hated. You gotta kind of move that way anyway. So there's no morality in this and do stuff to make yourself feel good. That's how you fuck yourself over as a black man.
I've been wanting to bring that up, bro. That right there, I've been trying to make that kind of point. Stop being concerned about your image. You know what? They already don't fucking like you. And then I'm gonna give you guys another secret about this whole male-female dynamic, right? Even if you vote Republican, the women are gonna fuck who they want to fuck. It's not gonna change your standing all as much as you may think. They're still gonna like who they like. And if enough of the men who they want to fuck start voting Republican, it's going to create a level of social pressure on them now. Because now it's like, look, I don't deal with certain type of women. And you're going to create enough of men who can actually draw women apart from that shit. So the idea that, we're against the women, yes, just embrace the shit. Put it on your bumper sticker. Put it on your hoodie. Put it across your fitted cap. Vote against the women, bro. We don't vote for bitches. How about that? Because you know what? It's a great rallying cry. Like you said, what if there's a lot of bitter guys? So what? I want the bitter guys on my side too. Fuck it. We all unified. We all got problems, and we all need to be in lockstep explaining why the problems exist and how to get our way out of these problems.
Right on. Thanks for thanks for coming up, Irv Gotti, who changed his name for me. Thanks for coming up. I was still questioning whether or not you was a troll, so I just let you come up and speak and have your say, and I drop you down. I still think you might be a low key troll, but so I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. But thanks for coming up. Thanks for coming up. We got SKC in the building, and shout out to Black Torch who lost me some subscribers with his presentation on what Barack did for black people. But I thought it was a great show. I didn't mind doing the show, just analyzing everything Barack did for black folks. But everybody wasn't feeling it. Everybody wasn't feeling it. But I thought it was a great show.
You won't lose not one male subscriber if you say don't support women politically.
Right. He got SKC in the building. SKC, what's going on, SKC?
What's going on, Bernard?
What up? What you got on the topic?
On the whole thing of how people should vote and whatnot, I personally, I think it's a weird concept because I don't get why particularly black men would need to justify their interest to a community that hates their leadership. Just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, think about it, Bernard. Would the community have came to your aid when you were trying to put together that $35K to be in your son's life?
Would they have came to my aid when I was trying to put together $35K to be in my son's life?
Yeah. All these.
Trying to get custody. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't $35K for me. I think you're talking about Perfect Blackness. I think he's like upwards of $35K in trying to get trying to get 50-50 custody of his kids. By the way.
Do you think that the community would have came to those brothers' aid?
No.
Do you think that the community would have came to help Obsidian after his industrial injury, after 22 years of putting in hard work?
Probably not. No, I mean,
So why is this whole thing of, you should vote for the interest of the community, which many people here within the manosphere will say are black women and children, when it comes to very basic things of men that are trying to do things to promote leadership won't even get their support?
Yeah, okay. Far as voting in the interest of the community, it's a tough situation. Well, not a tough situation. It's right now. It's a matter of when you ask the question, "What's in the best interest of the community?" That's what people are coming at. Let's just say 50 Cent with when he said, "Hey, I'm voting because I want to pay less taxes." But they saying, "Well, what about your people?" Okay, let's look at what Democratic policies and how much have they actually helped black people. You can actually look at that and measure it, and you can say that's not, even if you can find, okay, this policy here, this policy there has actually helped. Overall, in the grand scheme of things, they've done more harm than good. So what's in the best? So voting in the best interest may be voting with what people think is not in the best interest. You see, so that's why it's kind of a trick bag when we're trying to say whether or not you should vote in the best interest of the community. Because I talk about how it's going to be better for black male jobs when it comes to Trump, and that's better. That's in the interest of the community. So,
I mean, in my personal opinion, I don't feel that the community wants I would say strong black leadership at all. They don't want strong black male leadership. I think that's very apparent. I mean, does anybody disagree?
Nope, it's obvious.
No, I don't think but they want it toting the party line. Put it like that. They wanted it toting the party line.
Okay, they want a figurehead. That's what they want.
So take for example, like when the DNC did their I guess their their night or whatever of different advertisements or whatnot. They're what I'm talking about. What strong black leader did you see?
Say that again. What'd you say?
When the DNC had their what was that, their 3-4 night thing on TV and all of that stuff, what strong black male leader did you see?
What? Oh shit. You tell me, because I assume you watched it.
None.
It was not one black. It wasn't a single black person on the dais.
I saw old buddy singing and dancing in a dress.
Billy Porter.
Yeah.
I don't know who he represent, but he don't represent me.
This was a. What kind of event was this?
This was the DNC, bro.
This was like their little convention that they do every 4 years, basically.
The National Telethon.
And Billy Porter was there spinning in circles and shit.
Yeah.
Singing a civil rights, like he came to reclaim a civil rights era song. I forget the name of the song, but it was like a classic, and he just came and bussied it up. It was bad. I don't like it. And he can't dance neither. Napoleon Dynamite, yo, YouTube struck my video for some copyright shit, but yo, Napoleon Dynamite danced better than Billy Porter, man. It was crazy.
I just find it funny that you're saying he can't dance. I mean,
you gotta watch. It's like he just looked. The whole thing was bad.
I wasn't looking at all that, man. But I'm just saying, just overall, none of the interest of what black men actually talk about from day to day were represented in any of that. In none of it. So it's just weird to me, this whole concept of even now black men in any way having to have to justify their interest to a community that obviously does not want them to have success.
Right on. I hear you. Hold on. Wait, we got the link coming from Silent. I'm about to get Silent the link real quick. Obsidian is some little weird, yeah, right there. Some weird background noise, like you're playing something in the background.
No, it's not me.
I don't. Something going on. What do you think about it? Well, I think I know where you're gonna go with this. I'm just passing the mic back to you. What do you think about SKSC saying about black men not having to justify what they, think or what they feel about, who they're voting for and this or that, because the DNC has clearly shown that the interest of black men, unless they're dead, is completely off they're off the table. They had their little convention and nothing was not a black man on the dais except one spinning around in a dress, and then so why should we even feel obligated to even explain ourselves? Go ahead and speak on that one. Oh man. Yeah, I'm asking you.
I mean, you just said it. I mean, listen, I got nothing personal against Mr. Porter. He is who he is. Fine. I have no problem with that.
Right.
Right. You said it. You're saying the only black man at the Democrat convention is one spinning around, twirling on the dais in the skirt. So you take it from there.
Well, I mean,
shout out to Zero. Shout out to Zero. Said Billy Porter is a stunning and brave hero, a pillar. Okay.
I'm not saying that to say that the other side or whatnot just has all of these, strong black male leaders that should be looked to and all. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying I just think that it's weird that black men in general, leading up to all this Ice Cube stuff and so forth, should have to justify their interest to anybody, black women included. It's like this. It's like the whole mama syndrome. Who do you have to answer to?
Mama.
Well, oh man, look, it's deeper than just mama, because we got some soft ass uncles in here too. Fucking Roland Martin, this little chubby. I keep calling him a wombat. I actually pulled up a picture of a wombat, and I was right. He looks like a fucking wombat. But
I thought he looked more like a bush baby.
Pull up the wombat.
Did you see that clip? Did you see that clip a couple of days ago that Roland Martin did? He had Simone Sanders on there, and he asked her directly, since there are so many black men that are trending towards Trump, what are you prepared to offer black men in order to have them come back? She went on for like 3 minutes and didn't say anything about black men at all. She just skipped over the whole question like they didn't even exist.
Well, that's an insulting question. I'm surprised she didn't cuss him out for even daring to ask such a dumb question. Why the fuck she should offer us anything? I don't even think she'd offer us sex anymore. You know, symbolically and literally.
Deborah Cooper.
I'm just saying.
Strike, huh?
Hey, her and Deborah Cooper, they've been on a strike for so long now.
Oh, that's Brittany Cooper, not Deborah. Brittany.
Brittany.
Yeah, Brittany. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, hood conservative, but Brittany Cooper will not be handing out any more pussy. I didn't know if you knew that. I know that bothers you.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I didn't know that pachyderms could go on a sex strike.
Bro, listen, man.
I know that bothers you.
I don't know what all the pachyderm hunters are gonna do. You just fucked up the whole pachyderm hunting industry. Like, this is the power of a fat bitch. Fuck up a whole industry.
I'm gonna get up out of here. I'm gonna get back to work, Bernard. But shout out to everybody in the silent. I like to hear his viewpoint. But before silent move on, I just want to make it clear. I'm not saying for anybody to choose this way or that way. I'm just saying, to me, it is just weird that any black man would have to justify to anybody what his interests are and why he has to vote this way or that way, particularly in the with black women. That's to me is insane.
Right on. I'm with you. Falcon Black in the building with the super chat. Appreciate that. He says, "Where my wrench? Look, man, I got nothing but love for all of you. But I'm selling wrenches for $5 at the Patreon page. At the big $5 be a $5 patron, and that's those are bare minimum $5. You could be it's a $5, $10, and I think $25 one. But just if you come at the minimum level, you get a wrench. Patreons get wrenches. That's how I'm doing it going forward, or at least I'm just tentatively trying that out because I'm going to be doing Patreon stuff. So become a patron for the same $5 you would have donated anyway. Just become a patron, and there it is. But all right, we got Silent Lamont in the building. What's going on? What you got, man?
Hey, what's good, BR, man? I'm jealous of that dazzle mesh button down there, player.
That what?
That dazzle mesh.
Dazzle mesh?
Yeah, that's that that glittery shit to be on the WNBA jerseys and make that shit shiny as fuck.
No, man, ain't no extra shine on this. That's just starch. Oh, man.
Got that sheen. What's going on, man? You know I ain't shit, brother.
I know, but yeah, what you got on this topic? You said some good stuff in the chat room. Me and you, we had an honest back and forth where I came clean on some stuff that black conservatives don't like to come clean on. Yes, Trump is a dog whistler in the whole nine. I get that. He need their votes. He want their votes. So that is what it is. But yeah, go ahead. What you got on this subject? I
mean, you know me, man. I'm flat out apartisan, bro. Neither party is for black men specifically. Like, my solution is black men, need a separate liberation party, but we need it backed by lobbies. I mean, that's really the solution. I mean, when I come in fucking Republicans, everybody wondering what about the Democrats? I ain't no friend of the damn Democrats either. Mm-hmm. I just believe in calling shit as it is. And I think it's important to have your eyes open, man. Like, don't close your eyes. Like, don't be a sycophant. Don't be fucking stupid. Like, don't go because you hurt from one side. Don't go running over to another side. Ooh, he hurt me. Have your fucking eyes open, man. Like, this shit is insane to me. Niggas defending political parties. Niggas in America. I think we be smarter than this shit. Like, leverage your fucking votes, leverage your fucking power against both fucking party to make them bend to your will. Because really, you're not doing anything other than nothing different than being over on the Democrat side. You're just giving another side all the fucking power. You ain't leveraging no power. You look weak as fuck. I mean, that's just to me. This is what I was saying before about, you can be on the right, be on the right, but don't be a sellout. Like, have shit for your fucking people. All right. Don't all repeat all the same bullshit I've heard from racist Reddit posts, because that's what most of this commentary is. This shit ain't new. All these conversations, it's just the same shit. We're just repeating what white people have fucking said on fucking Facebook the last 10 years that I've been on it. I ain't heard shit new. We need to have our own fucking plan for our own fucking people. We need our own fucking power, and we need to be able to leverage that power against both political parties who don't give a fuck about our fucking values. And anybody, we sitting up here, well, it's all the Democrats, it's all the Republicans. It ain't all. The shit that's been done in Black America was a bipartisan effort. And if you're fucking naive to think that it's a one-party fucking issue, I'm sorry, I can't respect that, man. You ain't that fucking stupid.
All right, I'm gonna push pause right there.
Roger that.
I'm gonna get Hood conservative response to that, but real quick, ambush. According to Fox Soul's panel, Black women are not Black people. I think we should let them have that. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. And I just looked at my emails. So Hood conservative, thank you for those cash apps. Appreciate it, man. Fatal Dose says I'm a Patreon. Yep. I think I made the correction. I said there's no exact science on this. I got it all wrong. There's some people who I need to give wrenches to, some I need to take away. I didn't get it all the way right, but I'm working on it. But
and you know what? I'll be whatever names you niggas need me to be. Because at the end of the day, you can't see me. Period. I don't care what you think.
All right. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it up here. Y'all chill in the chat. Don't chill in the chat.
Y'all don't be panel, and I'm not gonna come at you crazy or nothing like that. I just want to
because I'm always respectful until somebody come at me. But I will make y'all niggas beg Zeus to get back on the planet. I'll take that fucking L from Bernard.
But look,
I was taking no ass to the Phantom Zone.
Look at the numbers, bro. Black men can't afford to play that game that you just described. Like, look at what Puff Daddy's talking about. His Black Party bullshit, right? Even if we forget all of his, everyone else with every other rainbow plaid skin color is involved too. Like, let's assume it really was a Black Party. And let's take it a step further to assume it was a Black male party, right? All Black male party would not have enough political weight to achieve what you're describing. And not only that, the Black woman would still be stuck on the Democrat side and would essentially have the open floor to just run roughshod with the Democrats. There would be not even the slightest hint of male pushback, which you might even get some of that. They get shouted down, but at least you could probably get some of that with Black male Democrats. And I'm saying that if Black men would all coalesce our vote into one place, we would not have enough weight to move the needle, especially towards male interest. The Republicans would probably lose because we'd be sitting out and still they'd be losing to the Democrats.
And for the people in the chat asking, I already told you I'm voting for Pedro, nigga. If he can teach Napoleon how to dance, he can save our country.
Yeah, James Hudson. Yeah, go ahead and I see you was one of the ones I was trying to get rid of the wrenches. You end up keeping yours. I don't know if you're Patreon or not, but if you're not, go ahead and become one. Golden Eagle in the building says, okay, you just responded to that. I'm sitting here looking at stuff, typing shit and not listening to y'all. But the Hood Conservative said a lot. So Silent, I don't know if you want to respond to that, but Golden Eagle, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate
damn,
that.
bro. Y'all just went fucking silent for a minute. I didn't hear shit he said, bro. Shit just dropped the fuck out.
You ain't hear
I was talking and then it was like dead silence after that.
Well, basically, we don't have the numbers to actually make your argument viable.
Hello?
Like, if
shit. Silent and Hood Conservative, they can't hear each other. They can't hear each other. He basically was saying we don't have the numbers to make your argument viable. David Monroe, just drop down and try to come back, and let's see what's happened right there.
Oh man, I don't disagree. I mean, pimping ain't easy, but I'm saying run into one side who don't have shit about your best interest, coming from another side that don't give a fuck about your best interest. I mean, it's just. I mean, if we're gonna do that, you could just make the side that you're on do what you want to do. I mean, again, you know, when I look at it, when I look on and I see all these conversations, you know, I know about black left wingers. All right, I'm good with that. You know, I understand who they are. I don't support fucking liberal policies. I mean, some of them. I support some liberal shit. I support some conservative shit. You know, I think anybody that's
let me ask you this. This is what I was getting at with St. Cloud. Do you agree that the shit that we generally talk about in this space, that the cause and cure, the source of all of that can be traced back to when black people jumped on board with the Democrats, the whole Lyndon Baines Johnson thing, you know how that go. And then also with that second wave of feminism and all of that. That was ground zero for
basically absolutely I agree.
For letting the inmates run the asylum. That was ground
absolutely
zero.
I agree.
Okay.
Absolutely I agree. But the thing is, I don't agree that was a partisan effort. That was the United States policy to get basically black people were what they call the canary in the coal mine. That's it. They had to destroy the fucking families, all families. It's more profitable.
Why didn't their families get destroyed when that happened? The policies was equal to everybody.
Because again, it affects poor people first. You comparing a fucking you know, when my grandfather, if I knew who the fuck he was, some Indian guy, you know, but our black grandfathers and our white grandfathers have completely different fucking experiences in this world. Period. And those experiences impact us. So if I go back and if I'm black and my great grandfather was being hosed down in the street and kept from getting jobs, while the neighbor that I live next to, his father had all the fucking opportunities. I got to compete with this guy. So his grandfather passed down opportunities to his father. My grandfather, who got beat up and hosed in the street, passed down his legacy to his father, which was nothing. So now when it comes to me, what do you think my father's passing down to me, or the opportunities I have because of my father versus my neighbor, white guy, whose opportunities from his father? But I still got to compete in the same fucking union.
Well, I can't go with
now
all
we can
that.
have this.
We hear right now what fathers and grandfathers did and all of that. I can't look at that as a man. My dad got shot when I was 5 years old.
But I'm not talking about individual though. That's the thing. I'm not having an individual conversation.
And that's
it's not an accident that black people just live in the ghettos. This didn't just happen. I mean, because with the time you guys talk about where black families were intact, black home ownership was at an all-time high too. Until the U.S. government came in, took those homes and transferred that shit to white people. I mean, again, we're competing with people.
Yeah, no, Keith, we gotta slow down and take some of these arguments.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Because look, all right, let's start with the argument.
Are you gonna ask me a question?
Well, I'm gonna start with the argument that you laid out, and then I'm gonna pull a question out first. Because you laid out the supposition that it's not bipartisan, that it was bipartisan, because somehow you know it's just a U.S. government plot, and I'm like, no, it is very partisan, because you start with Lyndon Baines Johnson. His quote, his famous quote, "We're gonna have these niggas voting Democrats."
What policy did he do? What was his policy?
Well, he opened up the welfare system largely to get.
That's bipartisan, man.
No, that's not bipartisan. When one Democrat president does that,
that's not how the world works, man.
Time out. Okay,
you just think one president just made this decision?
Time out. If one president was pushing for it, he got his party to vote for it, and some people in the other party also voted along with it, but it was the majority of the party of that president who had the numbers and the votes to push it through. That is partisan, even if it was some people on the other side that agreed with it.
Oh, so my question is this:
everybody across the board wasn't high-fiving at that shit. No,
Democrats ain't shit. Got it. So where were all the Republicans? Like, this ain't right.
They stood against it. There was fucking filibusters and shit like that. Days-long filibusters. Yes,
so which representative stood against it? Who stood against it?
I don't have a history book in front of me right now.
I mean, I'm asking you. We just make these like 50 years later. We just
saying the party switch phenomena is what you're describing.
I'm asking a specific question, man. I'm not trying to defend either side. I'm just trying to get to the fucking truth. Y'all seem more interested in defending the side.
Instead of not defending either side, I'm trying to lay it out to you that you can prove there was one side.
I asked you what policies are.
Wait, time out. Okay, Keith, what's your question? You asked him what?
So my original question, basically his statement was the Democrats were all the bad guys making all these bad policies that affected black people. My question is, what were the conservatives doing at that time? Were they just sitting back? Did they say, hey, no, this isn't right? Did they go upon Congress, and did they submit opposing ideas that wouldn't fuck over the black community? Like, what? Like, okay. This is one party just doing all this shit while the other party just. This is not how government works, man.
All right. Okay, David Monroe. All right, now he can put a question on the table. We're gonna let David Monroe answer it.
I mean, it's a simple question. What were they doing? They were voting against it. I mean, that's the simplest answer to your question. It's not like the entire Republican Party was on board with open socialist programs just being flooded into the black community, which is the problem when you say it. Hold on, let me fill this out for you. When you say it's a bipartisan thing, the ideology and the logical reasoning for why you would want to implement programs that would have the effect of destroying your family structure.
But you're not answering the question. You're using a lot of words.
Philosophy. It is a philosophy that is embedded into the Democrat Party and the politicians in the Democrat Party. The reasoning.
Do you understand how you're not like we're not really?
Hold on. Okay, you're saying he's not answering your question. What is he not answering?
He's using. I'm asking what opposing policies the Republicans put in play instead.
It wasn't about opposing policy. They vote no. If someone wants a policy to shoot you in the head, I don't need a better plan.
Okay, so the Republican. So basically, the Democrats then at that time outnumbered Republicans in the House and Senate, is what you're saying.
I'm not sure what the numbers were.
But that has to be true because the president is not a dictator.
No, he's not.
The president just doesn't say. The shit has to pass through. This is the same reason why all these policies that we're talking about that we could have had aren't on the Democrats since the second half of the Obama term. The Republicans have been running the House and Senate. So all of these policies, not just during the Trump administration, but also during the last half of Obama's administration. So if Republicans have black people's interest, since they were voting against all this shit, when we have to assume that they were outnumbered by the Senate and Congress. Since they were voting against the Democrats, since you say they're voting against the Democrats, but the Democratic policies won. Fine. So now that the Republicans have had the control of the Senate and the House since the second half of the Obama administration, what policies have they put into play that would help the wealth building of the black community? Since they've been on our corner the whole time.
Whoa, hold on. Okay, let me respond to that. They haven't. They haven't been in the corner. Okay,
and that's okay.
Stop. Let me figure this out. They haven't been in the corner the whole time. They basically took the L and decided that we got to figure out a way to win elections without black people because LBJ is right. He does have them niggas voting for him for the next 50 years. We got to figure out another way. That's what they've been doing, and they figured out a way to win elections without black people. So they haven't been trying to fight it. The Democrats been giving black people. I don't even want to say they've been giving black people what they want. They've been giving black people what they think they well, probably what they want, but what they don't need and what's counterproductive. But they have been in the corner of the black person fighting for the little guy, and then now they fighting for the Mexican guy, the gay guy,
Can I show you
all kind of they fighting for anything that's not traditional white conservative. They fighting for everything. That's how they fighting to get their votes. And they putting us in under that blanket, just trying to give us shit. Give this, give that. All right, go ahead.
I mean, I hope the Republicans win because I can't wait. I can't wait to see all this nonsense play out. It's going to be insanely hilarious to me
I
because it ain't
wanna-
going to impact me one bit.
I
But
want to. I got you, Pablo. I do want to see it play out, and that I feel like regardless of who wins, it's not going to affect me because I don't care what the climate is. I'm going to do what I got to do to win. So that part is true, but I do care about the overall outcomes of Black people as a whole, and what Democrats been doing ain't been helping shit. So I mean,
I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Listen, honestly, the thing that concerns me, it ain't really
I
like.
do got to go to Pablo.
I'm about Lamont. Hang on. I'm about to prove you right, brother. I'm about to prove you right. Just hold on. Silent. So, Black Americans tend to look at American politics as an example. They look at it like the carnival. Do you know when you were maybe a teenager or in your early 20s and you went to the carnival with your girlfriend and you saw somebody win a big giant stuffed bear at that game where you shoot the basketball into the hoop, but the hoop is deformed, it's misshapen? And you saw a guy walking around with that big giant bear with his girlfriend hugged up on him, and you thought you could go to that carnival game and win that same bear. And you took your shots and you lost your money. And the carnival barker grabbed up your shit and kept it moving. But then you went and you looked at that game where you squirt water into the clown's mouth, and the thing goes up to the top. And you thought if you shot the water in the clown's mouth long enough that you would win you a bear. You tried that and you lost, and you saw another dude walking around with the bear, with his girlfriend, and you still couldn't get a bear, and you left that carnival with nothing but some cotton candy and some popcorn for your chick, and she got no bear. Let me show you how American politics is not meant to support Black people in any way, shape, or form, or give them any benefit. It's a trick bag. Here, let me show you. The 94 crime bill that everybody's been talking about so much. Obsidian's old enough to remember this. I'm 51 years old. I was in my 20s when the crack era was going on. Yes, Joe Biden wrote the crime bill, but do you know who lobbied for it and requested it? The Congressional Black Caucus. Why? Because their constituents, Black homeowners in Black neighborhoods, were being overrun by crime, drugs, break-ins, prostitution, open-air drug markets. They were fed up and their home prices were plummeting. These were people who were, the baby boomers.
Real quick, let me say this.
I'm not done.
Hold on, real quick. No, I'm with you.
I'm not done.
I'm with you. I know, but hold on, Pablo. I just want to add to what you're saying. That whole crime bill thing, even though Joe Biden is getting savage for it, I'm not voting for Biden. I'm not a Biden supporter. Even though he said some ill shit that we can play the clips on, it was the being tough on crime when there's a lot of crime in the Black community and trying to fix that crime in the Black community by being tough on crime is not a bad idea. It just ended up being bad because the end result of it ended up being people getting locked up over small petty shit, doing 20-year sentences over a bag of weed and shit, like little stupid shit. But they were trying to get drugs and criminals and all that shit off the street.
That's the context that people miss, Bernard.
I will agree that. I will agree that wasn't just I want niggas in jail. That wasn't hold on. That wasn't just I want niggas in jail just to have niggas in jail. Some people during the whole Great Society Act and all of that and welfare and all when all that stuff started getting implemented, some people actually did have a pure heart and think that, hey, families are struggling, the richest country on earth, nobody should go hungry and starve to death. We should do something for our people that are struggling. But then there are some people that got political masterminds and were thinking, yes, we're going to use this and manipulate Black people to vote the way we need them to vote because we know a lot of them are
passed. Do you know what the conservatives did, what the Republican Party did? After it was passed and Clinton was out of office, they privatized the prisons and made it a business.
Boom. And who do you think got caught in that trap? And at one point, like we talk about how we lock these niggas up. all you niggas are criminals in the Democrat Party. And then in another breath, you know, it's the crime bill was bad. You know, like it's like people are talking out like, I want to get to the truth. I want to fix all this shit.
You
I
have
just
nowhere to hide.
Well, look,
everyone is just like posted to their little sides and won't just admit that both these are the shit where both of our shits are fucked up. Both of these things are fucked up. And then maybe, you know, there's a little truth in good policies in either. And it's up to us to kind of figure out, but to just be on one side or the other, I think more people are far more central than that.
Well, you can say
in the real world, people are just not that fucking.
You could say that this side is not worse without just full blown, as people have been recently saying, booty clapping for the Republican Party. I made it very clear I'm voting Republican, but I ain't booty clapping for them. But I do know where black culture went wrong, and I can tell what party is more in line with enabling and subsidizing everything that's wrong with black culture and everything that we complain about in the black manosphere. I can see that.
And I think what Lamont and I are saying is that there are no allies. You don't have political allies.
Reaganomics is also detrimental. My bad.
I think you guys got to look at something else here too. Just like the whole thing with the Congressional Black Caucus, that was black people trying to take the leadership, quote unquote, and solve problems that were actually happening on the ground. Now it turned into Joe Biden giving that whole speech and then the crime bill and all that. And the funny thing is, I actually went back and watched the Joe Biden speech just for research purposes, and it's weird, like. It was a tough on crime speech. He sounded like he had balls back then. He didn't sound like the doddering old man he is right now. And the problem that I'm pointing out is that the modern Democrats and the modern liberals, they don't even want to acknowledge the reality of what was going on then and just be honest and say, look, there was a lot of problems, and yeah, the streets were fucked up, and we passed the crime bill to solve these problems. Because look what's happening now. Do you really think Joe Biden now has the balls to address the shit that's going on in the streets with the same fire and vigor he had then?
No, he doesn't.
The Democrat Party that's going to be coming in behind him now? No, they're going to let it go out of control.
You're right. He's a piece of shit. But I also, look, you could get me to vote for conservatives. If conservatives came over and said, you know what, that was fucked up on that side. This is what we're going to do to remedy the situation. But instead, we're only saying it to just throw dirt, but we don't have any intention on fixing shit on our side either. We're just going to make just as fucked up. Like, I'm tired of the politics. You ain't going to do shit either.
I can't change your feelings, but I think you're putting a lot.
It's not feelings.
Too many motives. No, I'm not trying to dish you.
I'm just telling you what I observed.
No, you're putting
I don't have a dog.
Let David Monroe go ahead. Let David Monroe go ahead.
You're just putting a lot of motives on the other side that may not necessarily be true, because a lot of what you're saying is coming from the left more than the right. No,
it's not from the left. Stop doing that to me, man. Stop fucking. Stop. I'm not fucking left wing.
This abortion. I'm not calling you left wing. I'm not calling you left anything.
Everything that I'm saying are simply my. Say again.
I'm not calling you left wing at all. I'm talking about the political sides. Left, right is a thing. It exists outside of me and you. So
I'm saying for me,
the guys doing the shit you're complaining about.
But you're talking to me. These are my just like my observations on female nature are outside the box. Nobody tells me this shit. I just observe. I don't belong to the world. I don't give a fuck about either of these political parties. I like the conversation, but I don't have a dog in the fucking fight. To be truthful, man, I haven't voted for the last 6 fucking elections because I know that all this shit is bullshit.
Man, you up here with all this damn fire in your belly and you don't even vote. Man, come on.
But what is that? What does that? Doesn't that tell you that? What does that tell you?
That
Nigga,
you don't
I don't belong to either of these. Because when you've seen the shit that I fucking seen, both of these motherfuckers are sending us to fucking put bullets down range for some real obtuse shit. Both of these parties' hands are dirty. They're both crooked as fuck. They're both the same people. They just need to give the public a little team to root for. The team says more about the public than it does about the actual parties who are back there making these fucking deals happen, playing poker together. And y'all think that these niggas ain't playing dominoes together.
Bro, look at the
get on here and give you all this political theater.
You got
they give you the
All right, go ahead, David. Go ahead. You trying to say something? Go ahead.
Listen. Obama, when he came in, I think in his first term, he was like gifted. He was a goddamn Nobel Peace Prize diversity hire. He didn't do a goddamn thing to get that prize, right? Trump is out here making peace deals. He hasn't gotten us into any new wars. The one or two times when I think he even launched some missiles, I don't even think he really did effective missile strikes. Like, it was just for show. Like the whole, there's something different now compared to what you were describing with maybe both parties were true then. And that's like we're looking at something a little bit different here, and maybe we'll lose it when Trump is gone totally. But in the moment right now, it's not what you're describing.
Hey,
here,
dickheads
right?
in the chat. Hey, for the record, you dickheads in the chat, I was putting bullets downrange in Afghanistan when the fucking election was going on. You have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Fuck out of here with that bullshit.
All right, chill. All right. Sir Tyson in the building with a super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. He says, similar to the Crime Bill, the Economic Opportunity Act of 1964 had good intentions but went wayward. We can't look at a party to save us, but we know by 50 years of these policies what ship not to board. That's my point, Sir Tyson. That's my point. I ain't booty clapping for the Republicans. I don't think the Republican parties are saviors, but we can get off a sinking ship. We can. You can't say that. I mean, that's where I'm at with it. And you can look at some things that, even if it's indirect, we can look at some things and see how Republican policies are overall better for Black people. Defunding Planned Parenthood. A lot of y'all speak a lot about the high abortion rates of Black women. We should be voting. If y'all got a problem with that, a lot of Black babies being aborted, then yeah, you should be voting for politicians who would vote to defund Planned Parenthood. If you don't like where the culture is going with all
I'm just letting you know,
silent. Come on, man. Come on. I'm in the you can. I mean, you got a wrench for. I mean, you got a wrench for a reason. All right. What was I saying? Those of you who got a high problem with abortion, you should voting for politicians who would defend Planned Parenthood. You don't like how the culture is going all crazy with the LGBTQRS. Yeah, you should be voting. Even though I said in my opening diatribe that the Republicans are starting to yield to the culture on that shit, but you should be voting for politicians who are who would vote against all of the shit that they're trying to smuggle under the table. I talked about the immigration thing. If you think more jobs, the blue collar jobs that a lot of Black men working those jobs are a good thing, then yeah, voting for policies that support that. I mean that will reduce immigration in some type of way, because we know that I mean, I know I used to say this about Bernie Sanders. I don't know exactly where Biden at, but I think he will uphold it. Like I said, it will be. I don't know if Biden is just with the full blown, just open border anarchy and amnesty for everybody that's here. I don't know if Biden is exactly with that. I know I've heard Bernie say enough to where I can say he's with that, and I know a lot of Democrats are with that because a lot of Democrats think that underclass is going to come in, get legal, vote Democrat. So they have their reasons for doing that, and then Black men. All the Black men in the underclass, which is, not a crime to be in the underclass. It's not a crime to do low skilled work, do assembly line work. I've done some assembly line work. Those jobs pay a lot of people that just got a high school diploma, sometimes just a GED. Those jobs pay them good money. A lot of them are making $30 an hour. Those are jobs that a lot of Black men have. We can look at what Democrats are doing that's going to make even those jobs, those entry level, lower skilled, blue collar jobs, harder to get. There are things that we can look at with the Republican Party and say that is better. Then it's the cultural aspect of it. If we do think that everything that the Democrats would continue to subsidize is what's causing Black families to not be families, if you can clearly look at that and see that, then I don't see nothing wrong with you saying, no, I'm not standing with that shit. I'm not voting with that. That's where I'm at with it. Now, it's easy to say, okay, well, Democrats, they make back deals with Republicans. Republicans make back deals with them. Yeah, they got to bend. They got to give a little bit. Sometimes, shit go awry. It's all kind of shit going on. But we know for the most part, who generally stands where. And we know that there's a general sinking ship going on with the Democratic Party, with that, as far as black people and allegiance to it. So we can see that, and that's where I'm at with it. That's how I feel about it, and ain't a damn thing wrong with black men going Republican. But no, I'm not about to be dancing. Everybody's been saying booty clapping lately. I used to jokingly say niggas out there doing the Dougie with a "Make America Great Again" hat on. Yeah, they look goofy to me. They look goofy to me when they just in line for everything. If they can't acknowledge that, yeah, Trump do be dog whistling to racists. Yeah, we voting Republican. We voting side by side with some card carrying racists. That's better than voting side by side with all the shit that ultimately led to the black community being that's at least partially responsible for the black community being exactly where it is, and which ultimately led to all of us in the black manosphere a whole new brand of media created because of all of that shit.
Can I
like
challenge that a little, bro?
Okay, which part?
The idea that we are standing side by side with racists. Because here's the thing, and listen, obviously there are racist people in this world. They exist on both parties. You can't tell me that the people who are okay with millions and millions of black abortions over the years aren't standing side by side with racists either, right? I reject that argument.
Card carrying racists. We stand.
Listen, that's a card.
Yeah, we stand.
Your Planned Parenthood return ticket is a card carrying racist stamp. All right, I don't want to hear that shit. Now, the idea is deeper than that. It's deeper than that, though. Wait a minute. If you go back to the Moynihan report,
they mask it. When I say the card carrying racists, I'm talking about those. I'm talking about the Tiki Torch posse versus somebody who's masking
who support Biden.
Who I'm talking, or versus those who mask their racism under
my body,
my choice.
You walked right into that.
I just found out. Oh, go ahead.
Richard Spencer, the organizer and the flagship leader of that Tiki Torch movement, he put his official stamp behind Biden. So now the Tiki Torches and the baby killers are all backing Biden. What does that tell you, black men? What does that tell you? All the racist stars have finally coalesced into one clear line. Like
Bernard, my thing is
hold on, wait, hold on, real quick.
I got to vote Republican.
Hold on, I got you, Pablo. I just got to get a quick answer to this question from David Monroe. What was Richard Spencer's reason? I can look it up, but I want to if you know it off the top of your head, go ahead and.
I don't know for like a quote, but he basically disappointed in Trump.
And so he didn't give an exact reason. None
of that's the argument I wanted to point out to you. I just want to bring up something about that Moynihan report thing, right?
Okay,
you realize what was written into that Moynihan report are things that most of us have had to live in our lives now.
Yeah.
And Moynihan himself got called a racist white man for making these observations. Let that sink into you. They've been hiding behind this threat of racism all this time to keep the black men from finding out what the true target is.
So yeah, my thing was it's perfectly fine if you want to vote conservative, vote Republican. I did. My thing is I don't think doing so, a lot of black men in this space think doing so is going to accomplish a particular goal as it relates to their women and black family and all of that. And I don't believe that. But I mean, 400 years of previous political history proves me right, and I don't think it's going to change. But
I'm wondering why you say that. I'm just curious. Why do you say that?
Well, listen, politics has its place, and you should exercise your right to vote. And yes, there are flaws on both sides of these two major political parties. But let's keep it a buck. Black Americans make up 12% of the U.S. population. You still pretty much have to go to the white majority to overturn their pretty much dominance on American society. And I don't see that happening.
I'm wondering, let me hang on. So let me make sure I got this right. You're saying that you don't think black men voting Republican is going to change things on the ground with regard to black women. Did I understand that right?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm trying to understand why you say that. Why? Okay,
Well,
let me do it this way. Why would my vote as Obsidian voting for Trump again? I did it in 2016. I already did it again because I already sent out my mail-in ballot. So I already did it again more than a week ago. Why didn't it change things on the ground for any dealing with my woman or any other woman 4 years ago? And why won't it change anything moving forward for the next 4 years?
well, to start with, first, they don't care. That's not their interest. Trump doesn't have any. The Republican Party has no interest in what particularly is going on in Black America with black women. They don't care about that.
Well, that's
I mean,
not true.
if you want to vote conservative because you believe in conservative principles for your own wallet, for your own life, for your own prosperity,
what about the family though?
that is an individual. That is an individual decision.
I
right?
agree.
We have freedom. We talk about this all the time. Black women have freedom. They have.
But the Republican Party expressly talks about there are individual Larry Elder, Candace Owens. There are other Republican actual politicians that talk about the breakdown of the black family and have for decades.
Real quick, before you respond, Pablo. One thing. Hold on.
They had the presidency, they had the Congress, and they had the Senate, just like Barack Obama did in his first term. And what they do about it?
I just want to say real quick because Obsidian mentioned Larry Elder. Larry Elder just talked about it on his channel. Trump just hired him, appointed him to head something. I forgot exactly what it's called for black men and black boys. I forgot exactly the wording of it or what it's called. I'll look it up right now, but that is an important key thing that basically that they're trying to do what they got to do to work on basically the issue of lack of black families and black men and black boys and all that. So they are working on it. I'll say that to say the least. And he hired Larry Elder, who's somebody who speaks very competently about that. So that's worth pointing out. Go ahead, Pablo or Obsidian, whoever was trying to.
So I was saying they had the presidency, they had Congress, and they had the Senate, and they had a majority in the Supreme Court. And guess what? Even his Supreme Court cases that he filed got smacked down.
All right. So you asked what the Republicans have done. So let's take it. You mentioned.
No, I'm not asking what have they done. I'm saying I don't believe that some of the issues with black women that black men in this space are voting conservative for are going to be solved through politics. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So Bill Clinton in the 1990s worked with the leader of the Republican Party in the House, and the first time that a Republican was leader of the House in a half a century, the Republican Revolution of 1994, they worked together for comprehensive welfare reform. That's not helping black families.
Don't we still have a 70% out of birth block rate in Black America?
We do indeed. I'm asking you.
Okay, no, it didn't help them. No, it didn't help solve that issue. No.
I think it's a separate question. Did they succeed in solving the problem, or were they working on the? I think
they got people off the welfare rolls. Yes, they got them off the welfare rolls, but they didn't make them go running back to black men. No, they didn't.
Okay.
I don't know if. Okay.
Well, can I address this real quick? Why do you assume that black men voting Republican is supposed to instantly lead to black women coming back? Like that's not how it works.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out.
That's my interpretation of what I hear in this space most of the time.
No, it's not supposed to be that though.
Well, what is
let me make something clear here, because I was one of the major drum leaders, I guess you could say, drum majors, in terms of voting for Trump in the Black Manosphere as a black man and a Black Manospherian and a founding member of the Black Manosphere. Okay, founding father. Let me make this clear. My voting, and I cite here an article over on the Vox website that talked about the black political divide earlier this spring. It's easy to find. Vox, vox.com. Let me be clear about this. My or any black man's voting for the Republican Party / Trump is saying in no uncertain terms, and the Vox article makes this clear in the minds of black women. I run shit here, not you. In this house, I run things here. I am the HINC here. The buck stops here. This is a patriarchy here. Everything flows through me. That's how it works here. And we ain't gonna be passive aggressive about it. We ain't gonna do no, well, I don't do that. I don't do no. This is how it works here. I am the undisputed Lord and Master here. Undisputed. There's nothing to debate here. If you don't like it, there's the door. My vote for the Republican Party is saying that loud and clear, and black women know it. They know it. You read that article, black women have made it clear they do not like the Republican Party because they do not like patriarchy. They say it in the article.
Facts.
So any black man voting for the Republican Party is saying, I am voting for, if you want to call it that, traditional family value. That's fine. If you want to call it Christian values, Judeo-Christian values, whatever word you want to use. This is 100% man here. I pay for everything here. My name is on everything here. I run shit here, not you. And black women don't like that. And they can take their ass the fuck on if they don't like it.
All right, real quick before we get some responses to that, Golden Eagle, thank you for the super chat. I think, we already hashed that out back and forth in the chat, I do believe. But he says, Keith, my brother, you can't complain about political process and not be willing to participate in it at the very least to change it. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. I think there are some brothers who super chatted that I may have missed the super chat, but I'll try to see what I can do. Benign neglect is a primary point in the... What the hell is that? Monahan. Okay, yeah, Monahan report. BGS, by the way, did an excellent breakdown of this. Shit, I know I'm missing some super chats. I apologize. Give me 1 second, fellas. 1 second. I'm trying to dig them up, trying to unearth them. I know they still here. If I scroll all the way down, it normally don't let me go that far, but it did this time. Okay, the Oklahoma Bachelor. Is right about no one fighting for families. Okay, thank you very much for that super chat, Mr. Wright. Yeah, hold your thought, man. Hold your thought. Mr. Wright says, so there is no difference between the parties. Tell that to our ancestors about the the abolitionist Republicans or the aborted babies murdered by the liberal supported Planned Parenthood, etc. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Also, Tank Johnson in the building. He says, I'm not voting GOP, so black women will come back. I'm voting for tax policies that help me as a business owner. The hell with black women. Non-black women are more fun anyway. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Yeah, anybody who was voting thinking that it's going to, we voted Republican, yay, we gonna get some pussy. Like, I don't think anybody is arguing that. I don't think that's the argument.
Yeah, but, exactly. It's signaling, and I agree with my man Tank. I haven't heard throughout this discussion, and I'm not blaming anybody, I'm not attacking him, I'm just making an observation. I haven't heard throughout this conversation, and this is an important conversation for us brothers to have. We're going to do it again, 6 o'clock, over at my place here on YouTube, me and Bernie. And I hope to see all y'all there when we deal with this Ice Cube piece. Is this, what are our concerns? We done heard black women. I'm not saying that they don't have a right to do it. We done heard black women. They got the black women's political agenda. They got all that. It's time that black men put forward what we want. Now, I'll tell you what I want. I'm with Tank. I want business policies that are friendly to black men. Less red tape, less taxes. I want the brothers that have been incarcerated. They're not violent criminals. I want them to get their second chance. I want the police to work for us where we live. I want the government to work for us. I want the government to either support our rightful role as ruler, lord, and master in our home, or get the fuck out the way. That's what I want as a black man. That's what I want. I want lower taxes, less red tape. I want the brothers who made a mistake. They slipped up and made a mistake. They did something boneheaded, but they're not dangerous. I want them to be able to get a second chance. I want the police department to work for the citizenry, meaning, read, black men. We are citizens. And I want the right of black men to run their household. That's what I want. And either black women will either get on board or they get the fuck out the way. We're going to do this with them or without them. Okay.
You're not going to get any of that from voting with the new BLM Democrats. Just because they struck down all that anti-patriarchy shit off their website doesn't mean they struck it out of all their classroom teachings, all their pamphlets, all their little all the literature they like to hand out and spread. They believe it in their hearts. This is their religion over there, okay? Let's not slip on how deeply they believe in this anti-male, anti-patriarchy shit. Just as much as we believe in being the leaders of our family, they believe in the opposite. And this sort of thing shouldn't just be ignored. And I think that's really what a lot of the pushback is when Roland Martin sent the BLM chick to talk to Ice Cube. It really wasn't just about politics. He wanted him to get back in line, and he sent, a captain, a lieutenant or whatever to force him to get back in line. And honestly, Cube kind of, he rolled over a little bit, and I wasn't feeling that shit at all. Because here's the thing. Why can't we talk about these issues bluntly without, sugarcoating the shit? Why can't we just be honest? Black feminism has been stabbing black men in the back ever since it came out of the fucking Panther Party. Really, this shit is that simple. But, keep voting for him if you want, I guess.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I mean, and I acknowledge that to some degree, some of it is symbolic to some degree. I mean, there are actual, tactical reasons why. But some of it, it does make a statement, and BGS spoke to that, and BGS, I don't, he's not Democrat or Republican. He's I don't even know what to categorize him as, but he talked about how black male independence, and that's an element in the game. I mean, we're looking at the commercials, and me and Hood Conservative talked about that when we played that commercial where they basically depicted black men in the commercial as being behind women, get behind the women, follow the lead of the women, because the women are just killing it, and we just need to get behind them and just help them out a little bit, And then black men, rich, wealthy black men, P. Diddy almost a billionaire, sitting there talking about some. We just need to follow the lead of black women on this one. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing,
and I don't disagree.
Where the rhetoric of that party and the symbolism of it and what it stands for and how it just I don't want to stand next to that shit. And that speaks to what Obsidian is talking about, where a black man voting Republican, it does say something. It does.
Yeah. And
it does.
I don't disagree with
the equation.
I don't disagree with any of you fundamentally. My disagreement is minor. It's just a matter of degree of effectiveness. That's all. I question to what degree it will have an effect on the ground in real life. That's all.
Well, that's fair enough, but let's take that question and sort of apply it to your argument, though. What degree of effectiveness do you think we'll achieve by sticking around?
Oh, none.
I think we win.
I think it will do something. If black men
Well,
vote for
it'll drive you further into the ground.
If black men vote Republican to the tune of 35%, one Republican's going to win the election, and they have a whole new voting block that was just created. That will change things. That coupled with the fact that, I mean, I don't want to just put too much stock in the whole and everything that Ice Cube, you know, the fate of the universe is in the hands of Ice Cube. I don't want to sound like that because that's how some people are sounding. But the mere fact that, yes, black people are getting to the point of you got to work with who's ever in there. You can't just sit out and wait for a Democrat to get in and do the same shit they've been doing. So there is a factor of, you know, Donald Trump is a businessman who can will and deal, who know how to will and deal. Black men going that way and showing that, hey, we gave you our vote. You're talking about your little platinum plan. That's whatever. You know, Ice Cube talking about the contract with Black America. Yeah, supposedly supposed to be putting something together. So something can shake, something can change, something can happen. You don't know for sure, but we know that the nothing that's been going on with Democrats, you know, has been, you know, it's been that nothing has been going on forever. So I do think that black men should walk away, go the other direction, and try to make things happen over there. The party of patriarchy. Let's just call it that. There's nothing wrong with black men saying if nothing is going to happen, he's going to stand on this side. You know, I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Somebody said BGS is a low-key liberal. Ambush in the building. It says it's going to take better people to improve the community, even in the perfect world. Black people still have to choose to do better. That is facts. That is absolutely positively facts. And it's nothing. And now this is something that I emailed to Obsidian. It's nothing. We're going to talk about this a little bit tonight at 6:00. It's nothing in the contract with Black America that ultimately, you know, incentivize family. Damn, Sir Tice, I saw you in there. I was about to bring you up. There's nothing in there that incentivizes his family. So we don't know if there will be any change on that. And we know if there's black people aren't getting together, there's no families. It's going to be more of the same. So I'm not a huge
fan of the contract either. I'm fascinated by the whole like debacle that the left just attacked them for trying to help, and Trump. What I think Trump did is looked at the contract with Black America and try to like pull off something that will be like tolerable to a Republican base, because most of what Cube got in that contract is like really far to the left, and I don't really support most of that kind of shit.
I agree. I gave it a good looking over. Yesterday I was looking because I wanted to do a stream. I was plotting on doing a stream, still may do it, go line by line on that thing. It is a lot of liberal stuff in there, but the stuff in there that I liked was the stuff when it was talking about businesses. I forgot exactly how it was worded. I don't got it in front of me, but basically qualified individuals, you know, a certain amount of money from banks, from business. I forgot how it was worded. I don't even want to botch it, but it did deal with business and job creation, and I'm with that because that's something that where people aren't just being handed shit. People who got the ability to run a business, getting more or better loans for businesses, to create more businesses, create more jobs. That's people, you know, getting a hand up, but they got to do the work. I'm with that.
Let's look at that work for a quick second, though. And this is what and when he came out with this months ago, I don't know if anybody really noticed because it didn't make a huge splash like it did this time around. But his first the first time I heard him talking about it, he was like going to Hollywood, and this is like, I guess, one small plank in his platform, but he was saying, you know, Hollywood should kind of pool money together for certain, like, you know, black interests or whatever. You know, I'm being broad because I forget the exact specifics, but what I took from that is, with all the black wealth that comes out of a place like Hollywood, that comes out of a place like the entire professional athletic industry, right? Why haven't y'all done something like that? Why do we need to have the government, which is the force of a gun, make the banks set aside, quote unquote, black money, when we have all these black millionaires and billionaires too, mind you, who have black money, who have the networks, and some of them actually have the know-how, but none of them have the drive or the desire to do it. Like, why you want to force the government to make people do it? Like, no.
You are speaking my language, because I've been saying that for the longest. If there's a lack of jobs in the black community, okay, how many multi-millionaires, how many billionaires do we need in order to create those jobs? I'll give a shout out, for example. No, I can't even say this. I can't even say this for a fact. I'll save that one for later. But I've said this.
You know what you need. You know what you need.
Hold on, real quick. I've said this, that it's two factors. One factor is there's plenty of black people that got good business acumen who are working for white companies in high positions, making hundreds of thousands of dollars. They could use that same business acumen to build their own business and hire black people and move the needle on some shit. There's there's those millionaires and billionaires, like the type of money that's coming from the contract with Black America that's supposed to create jobs. If you add up all the money from the rich, from the black millionaires and billionaires, the amount of that money that's going to come out of that plan is going to go to job creation. Yeah, they can create it. Like the money is there, the people are there. They can create those jobs. They could buy out companies. They could buy warehouses with assembly lines that make fucking ceiling fans and have those assembly lines manned by black people. And there's job creation, there's growth, you know, whatever. It's the money and the creativity is there to do it. A lot of them just not doing it. The example I always gives, when Jay-Z was on Bill Maher talking about black community and we need jobs, they need jobs. And Bill Maher said it'd be nice if it was some damn near billionaire who was from those communities that got the money to create jobs in those communities. He checkmated them. Like, quit talking about jobs.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is what brothers have to make. See, we have to be assertive citizens here. Black men, we have a role to play here. We got to do our part to let the Republican Party and the various elected officials know what we want. This is where we could pick up a good cue from Ice Cube. That's what he did with both parties. I'm talking about in regard to the Republican Party. We got to let them know what we want. So I'm going to use Bernard for an example. You want to get more brothers jobs and stuff like that, brothers like Bernard, who's a small businessman, that's where it starts. Helping brothers like Bernard get through all that nonsense and red tape and the high-ass taxes and stuff so he can create the space to hire on a couple of brothers to help him expand his operations. That's where it starts. We got to look at it like that. The small brother who's a small businessman brother, that's where it starts. Cutting the red tape, cutting the high-ass taxes, so we can fix it to where brothers like a Bernard can hire 2 or 3 brothers. That's how you do it.
Yeah, Ricardo Rodney, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Appreciate everybody who supported the channel. And few people hopped on the Patreon and trying to grow the Patreon page. Patreon, like I said it before, the Patreons, you know, that's wrenches are just $5. Become a Patreon. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody who support the channel, everybody who hit the like button. We got 416 people watching, only 214 likes. Let's hit that like button, and we about to pass the mic to Triple Black. I am interested to see what he's about to say about all of this. Salute and shout out to Caesar D1 in the building. Salute and shout out to Caesar D1.
Man, shout out to you guys, man. I just been sitting back.
And hey, y'all, hold on, wait, real quick. Stop going crazy, especially people with new wrenches. Stop going crazy, timing people out for little shit. All right. That ain't what the wrenches are for. Quit timing people out for little shit. All right. Go ahead, Triple Black.
I was just, sitting back patiently backstage, watching the one brother get, killed. Similarly to how I got killed on one of your panels. And, there's some inconvenient truths to sell this narrative that if you even touch it, it will, invoke some type of, response. Like when I was talking about the gender war, the cultural gender war between black men and black women, like who wins this? In I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think that the Democrats purposely push Cube out there, because I think they know how to play three-dimensional chess, because in reality, when it comes to the voting bloc, a lot of times the black women outnumber us, and I don't know why. They just outnumber us for various reasons. But I think like somebody like Q, not what he says, just his very presence definitely kind of can rally up the troops on like the black women's side. Just because he's like a not a controversial figure, but like, what he says kind of invokes something in them. And you got Kamala Harris, and black women are not going to let you take Kamala Harris out of this. They want power. I'm just generalizing. And like with him, like, for every cube and for every one, black conservative, how many like, neck twisting black liberal women are behind that person? And I think Democrats think that there's a higher number of them are going to come out to defy Cube. And I think they think that they can win this war. That's just my conjecture. And the thing, and one other point I want to make is the one guy was getting kind of killed for trying to be neutral, but there are some inconvenient truths about things when it comes to politics. Like, for instance, the crime bill. How did that get passed? You had a Republican Congress and a Senate. The Republicans had all the power. The welfare bill. The Republicans have all the power. Like, you know what? Almost like
how do you know they had all the power?
Clinton almost had to become.
I'm talking about on the welfare bill. How do you know they had all the power?
Well, he pretty much had. I mean, that's how Clinton got into office.
I thought you was going back to LBJ. You're talking about the welfare reform with Clinton.
Welfare reform, because Clinton, when he came into Arkansas, he was really a de facto Republican.
All right, that the person that you're saying that we jumped on, he wasn't making that point. He was making the point. He was saying that it's wrong to vote Republican just to piss black women off.
Oh, okay. Now I was coming from the point where, like, you're like because I think they're all the same. Like, for instance, Clinton was a de facto Republican. Because to get out of Arkansas, you have to have conservative views. And basically, Newt Gingrich was, I think at that time, he was basically the president, because he had all the damn power. And hold on, let me just, I'm just saying, it's just like the notion that every Democrat, and when I say every Democrat, I'm not defending Democrats who are sitting on their hands or like where the Republicans. I'm just saying it's just like this. We have to call it on both sides. Like, for instance, Trump, at that time, he was rubbing elbows with the liberal New York elite. And all of a sudden, he wants to run president. He's independent now. He's this staunch conservative. Like, you got to also question that too. But you know what? Hey, man, everybody has a right to vote. And whatever your views are, I respect them. But there are some inconvenient truths that they're not being talked about, like Ice Cube, like a staunch Republican, when they see his plan, they're going to call him a raging liberal, because if you look at the plan, there's a lot of liberal ideas in there. And that's just the truth. It's not me bashing him, but
I think he is. I think he is liberal. I do think that is the case, and I think that is one potential that like Hood Server pointed out, that is one potential problem with the plan. Ain't nothing wrong with him working with the president to get things done. And like I'm saying, if it create jobs and businesses and loans and grants and stuff that you got to actually do the work in order to make it happen, like stuff like that. Like that's fine. I got no problem with that. But it was some liberal stuff in there. So I hope they get it right as far as that. But I don't accept the argument that there. I can't accept the argument outright that it's all 100% that they're across the board. They're the same. They just want the same thing. They're just using populist talking points to
Well,
manipulate. I mean, that's a factor in the equation. There's a
but I mean,
factor in the
one thing.
equation, but I
But one
won't
thing
go
I
whole
think,
hog. I won't go whole hog with that. Tyrone Miles, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. He says 1638 doctrine of exclusion made it clear. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate that. Go ahead, Triple Black.
I mean, let's be honest. If you look at black men as a whole, our ideologies, like probably like 80% fall in with the conservative viewpoint.
That is very true. That is very
in the black
true.
community, most of the social ideas when it comes to liberal, we're dead against. Like gay marriage or abortion and stuff like that. Those are.
Well, hold on a second, brother. Hold on now, because who are we talking about when we say we're dead? I think you mean many black men are dead against it. A lot of black women are for that.
I thought he meant black men.
I mean, not where I grew up at. Not in my households. Not. I mean, I just maybe that's just I'm not.
You said women.
That type of people, but my mother.
That did you settle on that? You seriously? Hold on. Wait. Stop. You seriously saying that the group of people that commit the most abortions are against abortion?
Nah, you know what? I mean, when you put it that way, no. But what I'm just saying is, it's like, you know what? Maybe I'm ignorant to that, but I'm just saying, like, what my surroundings, where I grew up at, and most of the people that I grew up around had conservative ideas. As a whole, I don't know. Maybe I'm just totally ignorant to that, but I just felt like, growing up black, whatever. I thought a lot of those ideas were against. A lot of those liberal ideas. Most black guys I know want to run a business, so they have the entrepreneurial.
Let me raise a question for you.
Government out of their business. You know what I'm saying? That's how I grew up.
If that's true, right? With that being true, how do you suppose we get to the point where most black men are somehow a part of the liberal voting bloc, even though we are just naturally a more conservative bunch? Explain that, please.
Things like this, I think, is very important because the media sells you on the idea that Republicans are tiki torch wearing, carrying, chew in the mouth, hating black people type person. And a lot of times I think it's a response that we have because we feel like the other side doesn't like us. And we don't, therefore we can't really share in their ideas. I think a lot of times, like with black women, it's out of defiance. It's pretty much out of defiance. Like what you're seeing with us right now with black conservatives and black women, a lot of times black women, they would, if it was a white dude that was telling them that they need to vote conservative and was really trying to buy their votes or trying to cater to them, they would fall right in line with it. But I think it's because of us. A lot of times they want to defy us. They want to defy us. They want to wear. I mean, I guess it's a cultural thing. They want to wear the pants in the relationship.
Conservative. Do you feel like he exactly answered your question?
Not totally. I was kind of going in a slightly different direction. I'm not sure I would say he really did answer my question directly. No,
because you the question was if black men are mostly conservative when you really break down and ask them what's their position on this, what's their position on that. They do line up more conservative. Then why do they vote liberal at the rate that they do? He did touch on it, how Republicans are viewed as racist. That is one factor in the equation. I know I at one point viewed Republicans as racist, and a vote for Republican was a vote for racism. I did. I used to think like that. That is one factor in the equation, but I think it's more to it than just that.
Yeah, but I mean, that idea is a very strong idea.
I think it goes back to we've been voting Republican ever since LBJ. And we've been consistently voting Republican, and we've been consistently seeing, certain results. and we just been consistently
I'm
doing
gonna,
it.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
give
you
you
mean-
guys a timeline. Let me
You
lay
mean
out a quick.
Democrat.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, Democrat. I'm sorry, I meant
Yeah, yeah.
Democrat.
Let me lay out a quick timeline and then tell me if this is off base, right? So for the majority of the civil rights movement up until like the Panther era or whatever, you had mostly male leadership. There were women involved, there were women in the background, there were some prominent female figures even, but it was a largely male-led thing. The idea that, you know, women should be leaders, it wasn't even a question on the table. So if you fast forward a little while, you get to the Panther Party and the whole revolutionary era, which is a different, entirely different chapter in the civil rights movement. It's its own little thing. And now, coming out of the Panther Party, you first get the embrace of Black female leadership. That whole revolutionary era, it was written into that whole, it was like written into their doctrines essentially that, you know, Black women would be leaders. You know, they weren't just holding a baby, they'd be out in the front with the rifles and shit like that. Like, this is what they believe. So slowly this shit transformed because, you know, feminism and all that shit took over too. So once you move out the Panther Party, it was official that Black women were now the leaders of the Black movement. And the de facto leaders of the Black community, coming straight out of that shit. Look at who's really in charge of the Black movement now. I swear to God, it came from the Panthers, and once the Panthers died, it seemed like we just got this birth of like radical Black feminism taking over what we saw as the Black civil rights movement.
Hmm.
You know, I saw something that really really disturbed me about the way the brother Ice Cube was treated. And I was listening to Kevin's channel last night, and the woman was berating him because Ice Cube was an entertainer, because it made his money in entertainment, over $228 million in net worth. Totally not realizing Ronald Reagan was an actor, was he not? And nowhere near as successful as Ice Cube is. But in her mind, he was illegitimate because he was in entertainment. His opinion had no validity. And that's very disturbing to me, that our women just kind of look at the brothers, no matter how successful, no matter what he's done, as illegitimate, as not to be listened to.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's very disturbing.
One thing that
Yep.
I think that, you know, we definitely as Black men can learn from Trump is his finesse game, because he has, you know, a great finesse game. Because the reason that he got elected, you know, is not black women. I mean, like Black women or Black men or one demographic. The core demographic was the same demographic that Obama won, was the college educated white women. And you know what? A lot of them have a lot of liberal ideas. They have a lot of feminist ideas, but for some reason, he was able to win them. And I think from a political perspective,
Actually, that's not true.
a lot of our Black politicians
That's
or
actually not
Obsidian,
true.
what wasn't true? What wasn't true?
That's
Obsidian?
not true. He
No,
didn't
what did he
win
say
over.
that wasn't?
He
Hold
didn't
on,
win over.
Obsidian.
Yes,
Go ahead.
he
Wait,
did a
stop. Like
larger
Triple Black, stop. I want to hear Obsidian explain exactly what did you say that wasn't true. I'm
Yeah,
not even.
that Trump won over the white college women vote. That's not true. He won over the white flyover vote, the white flyover Rust Belt vote, white men and white women. That 53% of white women voting for Trump 4 years ago, that came out of the Bible Belt, that came out of the Rust Belt, that came out of flyover country. It didn't come from coastal white coastal highly college educated white women. That's not true. They
So it
broke
sounds
majority.
like so it sounds like the traditional conservative type of places where married women who
That's right.
ultimately follow men
That's
came
right.
from. That's so yeah. So that
Okay, I was incorrect. I was incorrect.
Let's get right to this. You know, we're not going. Pablo mentioned St. Kevin last night. Let's get right to it, fellas. What kind of household do you want? Do you want a liberal household? And you know what that is in Black America. Do you want a Cooper household? Do you want a feminista Jones household? Or do you want the kind of household that 53% of white women voted for? Now, come on, man. Which one do you want?
I think we want that also. I was just pointing out that that was something that we can learn from Trump, because Trump was able to effectively get those people, and I think that was key to him winning. And I think with our politicians and the people that we get out to vote is we got to kind of learn from his strategy. How come a lot of our women are at odds with our ideology, and why are a lot of their women, because
I think they have no idea what our ideology is, because I think we've just been following theirs. I think that's part of the problem.
Right.
They have no idea, what we think and how we think. And based off all the Democrat commercials that I've seen targeted black men, with a lot of black influential people, for lack of a better term, have been basically saying is just follow black women. That's essentially the strategy.
Yeah, he's correct on that. I mean, that flyover thing. But what I was talking about with Obama was, I think Hillary Clinton was expecting to win a lot of those college educated white women, and for some reason Trump was able to peel off a lot of them. And that's one. I think
Hillary did great with the strong, independent white woman that wanted to crack the glass ceiling. I think she did great with them. I don't think she did great with traditional white women. Well, Obsidian talked about the data that shows it. That she didn't do well with the traditional married white women. She didn't do good with them.
No. But I think, now, do you think, this is a question for what percentage of the black male vote do you really think that Trump really needs to really move the needle in this election?
That's going to be the last question on the table. Obsidian, you can go ahead and answer that one. And we got to wrap this bad boy up. I'm going to try to get the rank situation a little better. Yeah, we're going to come back. Yeah, we're going to come back at 6 o'clock on Obsidian's YouTube channel. We'll be going live over there. You can go ahead and answer that last question he just put on the table, Obsidian. We'll wrap it up. Call it right there.
Brother.
Say that again.
Restate the question one more time.
Like in your opinion, how much percentage of the black male vote do you think Trump needs to get to really win the election? What do you think the percentage of the black, I'm just talking about specifically black male votes, that he needs to get to kind of move the needle?
Well, he needed less than 15% last time. We're just going to get brutal with it. He needed less than 15%. I think it was like 14%.
Yeah, but I think the overall numbers were the turnout numbers were down. So if the turnout numbers are going up, obviously you don't think they're going
to be down given what's going on right now with the coronavirus and all the rest of it, and mail-in ballots and whatnot? You don't think that it could possibly be down even more this time around?
It could be. I don't think so. But stranger things can happen. But I don't really believe so. I believe that people, because they started the process early enough to where a lot of people have already voted, and I think there's still going to be a large turnout, because in a lot of people's mind, there's a lot of people's mind, this is like a very, very important election, to where it's almost, some people kind of quantify it as life or death. So I really think that the voter turnout is going to come out.
Oh yeah, I got an article. Yeah. I got an article I'm going to get to tonight, where black women are saying this is life or death. I got the article. We're gonna get to it tonight on the show. I ain't gonna get into it. We're gonna. But I'll say this, as Bernard rightly argued earlier. St. Kevin talked about it last night on his show. We're gonna revisit it again tonight later on. The projections, the current projections, and by the way, this is not, all from the right. This is all polling, left, right, and center are saying they are expecting black men to turn out for Trump somewhere between 20 and 40%. Pick a number anywhere in there. If black men just do 20%, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's over. And
All right.
Trump has already picked up significant black male voters in the 18 to 44 demographic. That's a fact. We're gonna talk about it tonight.
Listen, when we kill the Democrat Party, blame black men. I'm out of here.
All right. I like that. That was actually funny. All right, fellas, look, everybody, thank you for coming through, for hitting the like button. I know I got some cash apps that I missed. I didn't get a chance to really respond to because I don't got my phone on me, but thank you everybody who hit the cash app, everybody who hit the super chat. I did a lot of tinkering around with the wrenches and I upset a lot of people. You know I still love you. You know I still love you. And we gonna get it all figured out. We gonna get it all figured out. But hey, thank you to everybody who come through, support the show, support the channel in any way that you do. And we are out of here. I will see you at 6 o'clock over at Obsidian's place. And yeah, we're gonna dig deep into it. You know, Obsidian has been sitting on some heat, so you know we about to get into that. So with that said, everybody, we are out of here. Peace.